Hello. Hello, hello. Come on in, get settled. Hello, cool 40K man. Oh, thank you. Hello to you too. I know I said that I'd see you all on like Saturday, but yeah, some things are coming up here and gonna have to be streaming for a little bit here to make up for it. Hi, TCOM.
So,
Not much. We're gonna be talking. A book today.
yeah, one of my favorite books.
Ooh, shit! One of his favorite, chat. One of his favorite. Well, I forgot I pinned that yesterday. Yep. So, I'll explain before we get into the book today that we're going to be talking about, because me and my wife just finished it together, so I'm very excited to talk about it again. Hello, hello, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome. Come on in, settle yourself down. Just come chill out. We're going to be talking about a book today, but there's going to be another very important announcement for those that aren't aware or aren't in the Discord server who saw the post last night. Or for those that didn't see the post last night. Just, yeah. Yay, pain.
Yeah.
Gonna turn you down a little bit, TCOM.
Yep. When life has you on your knees, it always goes for the balls.
What?
Alright, when did you come in, Dreamer? I have to check.
Anyway, hi boss, how you doing?
Oh, I'm stressed.
Yeah, your current situation would be, yeah, that's
that would be stressful.
I went through that when I was starting my own business. I feel you, man.
Hello, TikTokers. Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello, my lord. I hope you slept well. Okay, so, the plan today is that we're going to be talking about this book, Horus Rising. As you can tell, this is a first edition. Because it's got the bronze. It's got bronze. I love that so much. But for those that are not aware, situation in our financial life might come to a not so good turn, as my wife's job has decided to be not so good. Essentially, the company is so bad, it ran through 3 managers in less than 2 years. And 10 employees in less than 2 years. So, like, job is not good. Job is bad. It is not good for their mental health and their mental well-being. So, yeah, I told them if it gets any worse, I would much rather them have their mental health than deal with it. So, if things continue to spiral out of control, you will be seeing much more of me on stream, and I won't have a break, because I'll be having to make up for that lost income until they can find a second job, until they can find a new job, which we all know how the job market is today. Yay! Yeah. I feel nothing but distress and pain.
I mean, that whole job thing with like running through 3 managers, that's currently going on where I'm at, and it's just why.
It's pain.
There's a job market?
Yeah.
Wow, what is this job market you speak of?
Can I go there and buy a job?
Dude.
It's like, we need people. Then stop being assholes.
Okay, but that's the current situation. So TikTok, if you can, I'd really love to have all 90,000 of you, if at all possible, go subscribe to the YouTube or follow the Twitch, or do both. I'd very much appreciate it. But, yeah, that's my current situation, so welcome to hell. First, I have decided that after I finish a book, I will talk about it on stream with all of you while it's fresh in my head. I spent 2 years looking for a minimum wage entry job at a pizza place. She's a business admin fucking graduate. She's got her diploma. They got their diploma. Yeah. So, anyway. Okay, so Horus Rising. What the fuck is that to a lot of you? For a lot of newcomers, 40k books are complicated. They're an intrinsic web of where the fuck do I start? Well, in the case for Horus Heresy, the backstory to the Imperium, you will always start with Horus Rising by Dan Abnett.
Amazing book.
It is set in M31, so basically the 30,000th year, and it details the story of...
to society later.
Thank you for the sub, Aphrodite. Oh my god, Oh my god, Aphrodite. Thank you. My guy, are a Codex legend. Thank you. So...
One debt to society
for those that
later.
don't know, the Horus Heresy is the backstory for why 40k's Imperium is the way it is, and why all the Space Marine legions are chapters.
Society later.
There's so many subscribes. Thank you. Hector Garcia, thank you for the sub. So, and Clock Tamer, thanks for the follow.
To society later.
Also shows a lot of what the Imperium used to be like before all the religious fanaticism.
This book
One debt to society
does
later.
not pull its punches. For a lot of people, you don't know this, but in 40k, there are no good guys. There are no good factions. There are no good guys. There are no good factions. There are people that you root for. This book starts with... By the way, there's going to be spoilers for this, so if you don't want spoilers for Horus Rising, I recommend leaving. I might just have to mute the soundboard. But anyway, so the book starts with a joke. A joke saying, I was there the day Horus slew the Emperor. Now, a lot of you will go, what the fuck? But it's a joke. The book, the character telling the story is Garviel Loken, captain of the 10th Company of the Luna Wolves. This is Horus's Legion. These are his super soldiers, his space marines. And the reason why he is telling this joke is because he is retelling the story of the planet called 6319, also known as Terra. Essentially, the book starts with the Luna Wolves fleet, or known as the 63rd Expedition. I'm going to turn down the music because I can't hear myself think. essentially, the 63rd Expedition, as their fleet is called, arrives in the same system of 9 planets, where the lead world is called Terra. And when their fleet encounters the fleet of Terra, they essentially get the spiel of, we are the Imperium of Man, we are going to spread out across the galaxy and reunite all of humanity's lost colonies and bring in an age of science, realism, and essentially, you know, what 30k Imperium was. Essentially, they're looking at a mirror.
Society later.
Sinas, thanks for all the subs. And, of course, everyone's just kind of turns to each other and goes, what the fuck was the chance of this?
One debt to
That's what we're
society
doing.
later.
So, of course, everyone's like, oh, then this should be easy. They send a delegation, but the delegation's leader,
One debt to
tells
society later.
their emperor to his face, so there might be another guy called an emperor, and he's much better, cooler, and based than you are.
One debt to
And
society
as a ruler
later.
of an empire, that's the last thing you want to hear. So, of course, this guy, the emperor of this group...
One debt to society later.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to turn off the alert box for now. I still see all of you subscribing. I still see all of you following, so I will, Thank you so much, Sinos, for all the subs. Armadillo, thanks for the follow. So, essentially, the delegation is killed, and the Luna Wolves try to send another delegation to try and smooth things over. They do not want war, but they kill that delegation too, leading to the event of the book beginning, where essentially they invade Terra. The Luna Wolves, Horus's boys, invade Terra. And we are told this story from the perspective of Loken. Medlavy, thanks for all the subs.
I believe specifically they attack the Imperial Palace, which is on the highest mountain range on the planet, and I believe also specifically the Terrans in this they have a god emperor. They refer to him as the god emperor.
They do.
Yeah.
So
they're attacking 40k.
when you are seeing like Legion warfare, this is not like the small chapter strike forces. This isn't like a squad of 10 men going in. This is legions. These are hundreds of thousands of Space Marines charging the line. They are fighting alongside Titans, air support. In the distance, Loken could see a ship coming down from orbit, completely destroyed, and then crashing in the distance and exploding. And his armor, like his visor has to dim the light from the explosion. And it's here at this gate where like he's trying to break through with his company, the 10th company, where it hits you like a fucking rock. This book is not subtle at all. When Loken looks out to the ramparts across the way, he sees black armored Terminators. And he says they look apart. They look like something like a Black Legion. Get it? Get it? Because the Luna Wolves become the Black Legion? Oh! It's so subtle! Like a hammer hitting me in the face! And of course, the Luna Wolves, first company, which is where these Black Terminators are led by Ezekiel Abaddon. You know, Abaddon, the Despoiler. Yeah, you're not only getting the backstory to the Horus Heresy, you're getting his backstory too, along with it. So, essentially, Loken fights his way all the way to where the Emperor is, and he runs into an old man, who he assumes is the Emperor. And this is where the book hits you really hard that the Imperium are not the good guys here. Yes, was this an appropriate response? Like, war on war. You killed my delegation, fuck you. there is an appropriate response. There is an appropriate response. This was not it. The Luna Wolves are trashing everything. The cities are burning. The civilians are getting caught in the way, even though civilians had nothing to do with the Emperor's decision.
Think like World War II.
Yep.
Berlin. Everything's getting destroyed.
So, the book hits us with, why couldn't you leave us alone? Why couldn't you just, like, fuck off? We didn't need you, nor did we want you. And that's a pretty good point. Like, why couldn't they have just left them alone? Well, the problem is, the Imperium has a way of, I'm right, you're wrong. And they have to spread this idea to everybody, to enlighten them, or as I say in the book, illuminate them. There's a lot of turn of phrase that you see in these books, and you're just like, do you mean enlighten you? And this is the question that will constantly bombard you through the book, and there is a very clear answer. I.e., you should have left them the fuck alone. They weren't bothering you. If they don't want to be a part of you, you can't force them to be. But situation goes foobar. Turns out the Emperor was not the old man, but the fucker sitting on the throne that was invisible. And Loken, along with the squad that made it up there with him, get launched from the throne room, because they're like in a high tower, like a very high tower. And Loken is barely hanging on for dear life, as like the Emperor has like this special weapon inside his throne that like unleashes a force field. And suddenly teleports in Horus, Primarch of the 16th Legion. And all he does is stand there in his Terminator armor, raise his plasma pistol, points it, and fires, killing the Emperor. Leading to the joke, I was there the day Horus slew the Emperor. And again, this is a story being told to someone called Mercedes Oleton. She is a remembrancer. Her job is to literally remember. She is a propagandist. And her job is to basically hear the stories of Marines and other military officials and essentially write it down, pretty it up for the people back home. And it's described in the book that they are not welcome. The remembrancers are very alienated by both the military and the Marines, because the Marines and the military feel like, why the fuck are civilians here? Why the fuck are these people that have no idea what we're doing and why we're doing it here?
Also, it's speaking from a military mindset, is you aren't contributing to the mission. You're useless to us.
All you're doing is sitting around writing shit, taking pictures, and eating our food.
Yeah, basically.
That's
how we saw like reporters or any civilians when we were deployed. He's like, why are you here? Let me do my job.
I was gonna say they're essentially war correspondents to an extent, but also kind of chroniclers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In like a medieval sense.
Yeah. So, and Loken, as he's talking to Mercedes, there's this very clear, like, he's putting up a wall in front of her, essentially, emotionally. And he gets really pissed with her because she's very casual about rank and orders. Like, she does not call Horus War Master Horus. She calls Horus Horus. And he takes offense to that. And it leads to, like, this... It's so human of a response, because, like, that's the Emperor's son. That's his second. You should speak with the reverence that that title brings. Whereas, like, Mercedes just like, okay, it's Horus. Like, I hear about him constantly. Because they talk in casual settings. They aren't in this rank and file system. Which really shows just like how far apart Marines are from regular people. And I really, really like that. This book will jump around from Loken to the Remembrancers. And then it jumps around to like other characters later, but it's mostly right now the Loken and Remembrancer show. But after Loken sends Mercedes away, because, like, how dare you not say Horus's title properly? Fuck, like, you don't get it. She goes and talks to two other people. Euphrates Keeler, who's essentially a photographer. A very good one, by the way. And Ignis Carcassy, who's a poet. And Keeler is very much like, she's that kind of flighty, very much like in her own head kind of a thing. Like, I snap pictures at random because, like, I think it just looks perfect. And Carcassy is a drunk. He's a belligerent drunk. And these are the three Remembrancers that we'll be following in the book if it's not following Loken.
I like Carcassy because I think he's about the only character in the entire book, and probably one of the few characters in the series who's like, this is horrible.
Yeah. We'll get to him in a second, but Loken, in the book, Loken is... There's rumors going around that Loken is going to be the next member of a special group within the Legion called the Monerval. This is a political group that are made up of legionnaires from the Legion, but when they're in this group, they have no rank. They do not speak for their company. They do not speak for their Legion. They speak as themselves. So if Loken is brought into the group, he does not speak as captain of the 10th Company. He does not speak as Loken, 10th Company captain of the Luna Wolves. He speaks as Garviel Loken. And the rumor turns out to be true. He is going to be brought into this special group because the guy that was there before was the first guy that died in the book. Hastur Serjanus.
Yeah. Really messed up Horus when Serjanus died.
Yeah, it's... Essentially, Loken is filling in the shoes of a guy that is described as the perfect son. Like, where Sanguinius is seen as the perfect son of the Great Crusade, Serjanus was seen as the perfect son for the Luna Wolves. That's the kind of shoes he's filling. And that meeting with that old man really fucked with his head. Because he's not used to somebody saying, why couldn't you just leave us alone? He's a Marine. He's not a debater. He's not a philosopher. He is a self-described weapon. I shoot at what I'm pointed at. So he goes to talk to his mentor, an iterator, essentially a propagandist, like the actual propagandist, the guys that get on stage and basically spouse propaganda about their empire, about their military, whatever the fuck. He goes to talk to a guy named Kirill Cinderman, his mentor. And essentially, as he's talking to Kirill, my wife put it, wow, this is like listening to my religious father. With how he talks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are evangelically secular.
I was also about to say something, but don't want to spoil
So
anything.
Loken brings up that what the old man said. Why couldn't we have just left them alone? And Carcassy hits him. Well, if you see a drowning child, do you go out to save them or do you let them drown? And of course, Loken says, I'd save them. And if they tried to push you away and say they don't want your help, do you still let them drown? No, of course not. That question is what empires like That's what colonizers and colonists and not so good groups in our history have used to justify their conquest and expansion. Because you don't know if that person's drowning. You don't know the context. But he's using it in this way to try and justify the atrocities that they have just committed upon the people of 6319.
It's for their own good.
Yeah.
You know?
They go up to the line of, and I don't remember if they cross it, but they basically go up to the line of essentially saying, we are a superior race.
Yeah, we are superior to them because we know it. We know better. We know we are right. Again, if anyone tells you that 40K is not political, throw this in their face and say, shut the fuck up. The book is verbatim telling you this is not a good thing. Just join what I missed. We're talking about Horus Rising. We're going through the whole book. So, after, essentially, Loken is also looking for, as he puts it, permission to join the Monerval. I.e., trying to see, like, if he's a good fit. And this is where Carcassy drops on him. Yeah, you are, because you're the kind of person who thinks. You're the person the War Master needs most right now, because you actually sit and think about what is said to you. Yeah, sure, you still ask for other opinions, but you think about it. You think it through. That's what Horus needs right now. Not a yes man, not some war dog. He needs someone that is willing to think on his own. Sorry, my cat's yelling at me. I'm letting you in, cat. I'm coming. Cat cameo. No, you can't sit here. I'm working. Say hello, everybody. Say hello to Sarah. Yes, you're cute. You're silly. And a silly stupid, but I love you. So yeah, like, there were two others that were being talked about for promotion to the Monerval. There was Luke Ceteret, I think? I think it was Luke.
Yes.
But Carcassy describes him as a war dog, someone who is always happy to go with the extreme scenario. Then there was Iacton Cruz, who, as Carcassy describes him, is a Marine that has long since fallen out of favor. Not because he did anything bad, but because he really should be retired. And he's willing to do anything to stay within the War Master's good graces. He's willing to say anything. He's willing to kiss as much ass as he needs to. And that's not what a support group for Horus needs. They need a realist. They need someone who is willing to ask the hard questions and think it through. Ghosty, thanks to the donation. So Loken joins the Monerval, and it's a beautiful scene. And as well, he calls down Mercedes Olaton to the place where, like, he's going to be turned into, like he's going to be promoted into the Monerval, and essentially says to her, yeah, no, I need to get it through my head that this is how things are going to be, and I need to understand that, like, you Remembrancers aren't doing things out of, like, being an asshole. You just didn't know. Especially since we also get a little section where Euphrates Keeler snapped a beautiful picture of a Marine named Malachurst, who was part of the second expedition to go talk to those people on 6319. And essentially, the picture was so amazing and made Malachurst look so good that it helped ease the Remembrancers in. Yes, you're cute. who are very cute. So then the book jumps to Carcassy. Carcassy, as I said, is a remembrancer. He's a poet, and he's a drunk, and he's a belligerent. And he's down on 6319, listening to a guy basically give a very poor speech about how he's going to rebuild the city better than ever, kind of a thing. And it's very clear to Carcassy that this guy has no idea how to talk to a crowd. So he manages to slip out of the meat of this like big presentation and wander about the destroyed city. And it's here where it hits us with the obvious message of empires do not last forever. And that you cannot enforce your will upon other populations that do not want it. Because Carcassy is seeing all the destruction, like destroyed homes. The people are very quiet. They're like eyeing you constantly like this. They do not want to be in the city. And he's wandering around finding like spray painted slogans, painted on slogans of like down with the oppressors kind of a thing. And he starts writing about how, yeah, no, the Imperium is not good. We are not doing good out here. We have essentially violated these people's privacy, their homes. We've murdered their brothers and sisters, and we expect them to kneel for it. We expect them to like us for it. That's not right. That's fucked up. And he gets drunk while doing this. So, eventually, he gets in shit with an army squad. Not Marines, regular rank and file humans of the Imperium. And he starts mouthing off. And the officer is just like, okay, he's obviously drunk. He's obviously just, like, traumatized from what he saw. It's best to just, like, defuse the situation and get him the fuck out of here. So this officer's trying to get him to, like, calm down and, like, trying to usher him out. And then all of a sudden, Carcassy's on his ass, doesn't understand what's happening. He tastes blood in his mouth, and the officer is screaming at his men, who are now kicking Carcassy's shit in, because Carcassy had the balls to say, we are not the good guys here, and our empire is as fleeting as theirs was. And holy fuck. What's remembered, sir? Essentially, they were a special order within the Imperium back in Warhammer 30k that were sent to the Legion fleets to, like, remember them, like, create art, poems, stories, all that kind of stuff about them. Hello, baby.
I think in the most recent books, Gilman has started bringing them back.
Yes, he did, actually.
Because actually having accurate history is a good idea. Although the remembrancers aren't... Right. Dan Abnett's a good enough writer to be referencing actual medieval chroniclers, and medieval chroniclers wrote what should happen, not what actually happened.
Yeah.
So
they're artists to the legions. Yep, pretty much. Yeah. So we have that kind of like really dry punch to the face. Like I said, this book will keep hitting you in the face repeatedly with Imperium bad. But like you learn to like Ignis, because he's so painfully human. He's a man who wanted to get out to the galaxy and feel that spark of inspiration and creativity in him again, but all this bluster about like how he's going to be doing great work. You're going to be doing great work, Ignis. You're going to be like remembering the entire glory of the Imperium's conquest across the stars, telling the stories and the glories of the Emperor's legions.
Then he gets there, and none of the Astarias will talk to him. None of the Imperial Army officers want to talk to him. And he's just like, what the fuck is this all about then? Why am I here?
Like, there's this wonderful scene where he's like leaning back in his chair during the meeting, and he sees the fucking Titan, like Dies Ira, the Imperator,
Titan.
the Imperator class Titan, just standing there like a vigil statue ready to kill. And he's just like, yeah, no, that's kind of cool, but also like, isn't that a little much, guys? Like,
I do love that their Imperator Titan is called the Angry God.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's what his name means.
Remember, Sir Space Marines are just normal dudes. They're regular people. They are regular people. Like, they're a mix of, like, peasants and nobility.
Yeah, they're not even Solar Auxilia at this point. It's too early in the Crusade.
Yeah. So, after Carcassy gets his shit rocked, we jump back to Loken, who is now part of the Vulnerable. He is essentially being walked through the paces. He's met with Aximan, he's met with Abaddon, and essentially they explain their role as Vulnerable to Horus. They're advisors, but they're also a way for Horus to politically attack somebody without it being Horus doing it. Because remember, Loken, Abaddon, Aximan, and Torgodon do not speak for the Legion. They do not speak for Horus. They speak for themselves. So, essentially, they're teaching Loken how to play politics.
I believe Dan Abnett's talked about this a little bit as well. Sorry. The thing about the Mournival as well is there's always 4 of them. They represent the 4 phases of the moon, and all 4 have to be of different humors in terms of personality. That's apparently important.
Yeah, so in the group, Abaddon is the warmonger. He's the guy who's like, aggression. Aggression must always be our answer. It must always be the answer we choose. Torgodon, who's the second company captain, is the jokester. He's a court jester, essentially. He's the one who eases the tension. He's the guy who just goes like, okay, let's calm it down here, guys. Let's take a more like relaxed approach to things. Aximan is the more cool-headed, very blunt, straightforward person. He's the kind of person who will tell you to your face you're a fucking idiot when you fuck up. But he's also the kind of person to help you out in proving yourself. He's just going to be bluntly honest with you about it. Then there's Loken. He's the one that is the dissenting opinion. He's the devil's advocate of the group. Because he's the one that thinks, i.e., shouldn't we just leave them alone? One sec, the cat wants out now. You want in, you want out, you want everywhere. Go play. Are they sanctioned by the Imperium itself to do the recordings, or do they do it of their own volition? They are sanctioned by the Emperor and Malkador the Sigillite. But yeah, like, this book, this takes place when the Emperor is walking around. Like, this is the Imperium's golden age, kind of a thing. So yeah, and Loken's first test is when they go to a war room to talk about the compliance of 6319. And essentially, what they find out there is that the planet is complied, but there is resistance in the mountains, and the military can't put it down because of factors of the position the rebels have taken up in, the fact it's in the mountains, so they can't get armor up there reliably, and just a few other key factors that are causing problems.
I think the military commander also said, like, They could eventually do it. It's just going to take a lot more casualties than would be necessary, and that's why we're asking for Astartes support.
Yeah, so is Horus made War Master in Horus Rising, or is it like world building phase of the Horus Heresy?
It takes place right after, basically.
It takes place 1 year after he's promoted to War Master.
Yeah.
So Horus and the rest of the expedition are in a sticky situation because they can't leave this here, because if rebels are successfully fighting the Imperium, this sends a bad precedent across the Empire. So they need to deal with this. Have you eaten today? I did eat today. Don't worry. I've taken care of myself. But this is where Horus was relying on Loken. So Loken sees that the sector in which that mountain is occupied was in his company's jurisdiction. Relatively far out of the way. They didn't think they'd have to deal with it. But Loken says that this world cannot be declared compliant because my company did not do its job. So I will take down part of my company to go deal with it. It's our responsibility, and that way everyone saves face, no one gets fucked over, and the peace can be reestablished. And Loken doesn't realize that Horus practically dog-walked him to that conclusion. Which...
exactly what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah. So, this is where you see that the Monorville is not only just supposed to be advisors to Horus, they're scapegoats.
Is Horus has to be perfect.
Yep, Horus has to keep up an image. He can't look weak. And it's in this scene as well, like, where you go, like, that's a little fucked up, dude, to Horus. But then you see, like, the camaraderie between Torgodon, Aximan, Abaddon, and Loken. It's here where you learn that Abaddon has a sense of fucking humor.
Abaddon's not a complete and total dick yet.
Yeah, he's still an asshole, but, like, he's the funny asshole. And, like, they hit you with this really, like, good joke where, Abaddon's like, hey, if you want, I can lend out, my first squad in my first company. I can lend out, the Widowmakers, if you want. And Loken holds up his hand and says, as that won't be necessary, the 10th can handle this. And Abaddon just smiles to him and says, okay, I'll tell the Widowmaker and his squad that they are not needed. Which, that's an offense. Like, if they're said, you aren't needed for this. Oh, I'm not needed, huh? And Loken's panicking. He goes, no, I didn't mean that. And Torgodon and Aximan start laughing. And Abaddon just smiles, puts his hand on Loken's shoulder and says, Garvey, I'm kidding. They use fucking cute nicknames for each other. God damn it.
How dare you make me care about these characters?
It hits you hard, and you really start to like these characters. You start to like Abaddon, because Abaddon he's like the older brother of the group. You like Aximan because he mentors Loken. Where, like, Loken's trying to, like, decide to pick someone who can fill in his absence, like, drilling the company, making sure that everyone's good to go when they need to go. And he's like, yeah, I should give it to Jabal, because, like, senior rank and everything, but I really want to give it to Vipus, because Vipus I trust more than Xavier. And Aximan tells him, go with your gut. If you feel Vipus is the best choice, he's the best choice. Jubal's a big boy. He'll get over it. And that's telling Loken, like, you're an officer. You're a commander. Yeah, they may not like the decisions that you make, but they're your decisions. You made the call, and come what may out of it. But they need to respect the decision that you make, and you need to follow what you think is best. And I like that. I like that Aximan is backing him up on that. That's a sign of a good author.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and Torgadon just roasts him.
Yeah, Torgon's great. Torgon's great. My wife loves Torgadon.
Godin's amazing.
So this also leads to a really cool scene where Euphrates Keeler and her group of remembrancers are brought to the embarkation deck, essentially the hangar, where she snaps a beautiful picture of Garvia Loken on one knee, taking an oath of moment, which is essentially like, I will
do this thing during a battle.
Yeah, I'll do this thing, or I'll make sure that, like, this deed is accomplished before this battle is done.
Yeah. And
it's a beautiful picture with the Luna Wolves flag in the background, with Torgadon, Aximan, Abaddon, and 2 other company captains taking Garviel's oath of moment, and it's this really beautiful picture. In fact, it's so cool that it's actually a plot point within one of the Eisenhorn books that this picture shows up in. Fuck you, Dan Abnett. I love you very much.
Also important to say is, like, I know at the moment the way it's described is it's a small strip of parchment that is then attached to the armor with a wax seal.
Yeah, that's the purity seals that we see.
It was originally intended to be, and apparently they changed it, like, because the book series became like 50 books long. The purity seals are actually something else, but this was meant to be where that came from. It's just there's Dan Abnett's talked about it, like, now. There's a lot of little artifacts in Horus Rising, which are, like, the Horus Heresy series was originally... I think the Horus Heresy series was originally meant to be...
I think it was supposed to be like 12 books?
It was like 12 to 15 books was, like, the original pitch that Black Library came to them with. Like, Gilliman wasn't meant to be in it, like, at all. Which is crazy when you think about it now.
It's wild.
But there's a whole bunch of stuff that was, like, meant to be like, oh, this is where that comes from, and then because the series became so long and, like, so many other things got introduced, it just changed. Like, it's such a good, because obviously this comes out in 2006.
Yeah.
This book. And ironically, it's 2006, and he's writing about the Lunar Wolves having to go and fight an insurgency in the mountains that the army can't deal with. I wonder what that's a reference to.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. Fuck.
Yeah, the Marines being sent in to take over for the army in Afghanistan because they couldn't do it. Yeah.
God damn it, Dan.
He's less subtle about it when he gets to Legion.
No, Legion again hits you in the nuts. It's, oh my god.
Yeah. But, like, it's this book, because this book is now 23 years old. Like,
2006. It's getting up there. Yeah, it's getting close.
Yeah.
It's 18 years old right now.
God damn.
Yeah, sorry, 18 years old. It's nearly 20 years old.
Making me feel old.
It's not my fault. Boss, can I have your opinion on something? Sorry, just hold that thought. Can I have your opinion on something? Whenever I ask questions about 40K on TikTok, etc., about whether certain storylines could go, I always get told that 40K is a setting and not a story, so it will never go anywhere. What do you think about that? No, there are places 40K can go, but it will always return to status quo. You can go ahead there, Will.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, like I was like, regular playing at my local GW. Like I was a store rat basically, when these books were coming out. I remember them coming out like that. Like this was the crazy thing we never thought we'd got, and we got like the best. I'm gonna straight up say that we got like the best two Black Library authors at the time writing the first two books, and then also James Swallow. He's a good writer, but like, and Ben Counter, who's also a good writer, but not like, he's not unfortunately on the level of like Dan Abnett or Graham McNeil.
Yeah, that there's a very clear quality difference when you go from like Horus Rising, False Gods, and then you hit Galaxy in Flames.
Yeah.
Not saying Galaxy in Flames is bad.
Yeah.
Just
It's a
like
good book.
you feel that difference. Characters are a little bit off. But so Loken and his company deploy back down to 6319, and on their way down, they begin to hear Vox static. So essentially they start hearing static in their radios. And if you tuned into the right frequency, you could hear a voice, and it's a creature calling itself Samus. And by the way, if you're listening to the audiobook version of this, I highly recommend it. The guy reading the audiobook does such a good job at reading it. It sends chills down your spine. It's really creepy. And Loken has no idea what to make of it. But like, if you know Warhammer 40k, you know what it is. And that's the worst part. Because since we have knowledge of Warhammer 40k, it's that kind of bomb under the table situation. Something's going to go wrong. They get down to the planet. Loken walks up to the army personnel that are basically overlooking the temple that they'll be assaulting. And essentially gets like the whole crux of the situation, like why the Imperial Army couldn't take it. Well, the enemy's got an entrenched position. There's only one way in, and it's a stone bridge. And they just have so much firepower. And we can't starve them out because somehow they're getting food up there. And there's natural springs all over the place inside that temple. So we literally can't starve them out. And we've already lost like hundreds of soldiers trying to take the bridge. So Loken just says, "Okay, bring up the Terminators." And like a whole block of 20 Terminators walks up. And if you've read 40k at like 2006, all of the 40k books made Terminator armor out to be like the rarest thing in the galaxy. It's ancient, it's powerful, it's some of the strongest armor that you can wear, and like only very few are allowed to wear it. Here in Horus Heresy, it's common. It is so fucking common. In fact, they're wearing
everywhere.
The newest Terminator armor that's been rolled out. I can't tell though if it was supposed to be the Indomitus pattern or if it's supposed to be like Cataphracti or Tartaros.
At this point, this is
Too late for
Tartarus.
Saturday. Yeah, it's too late for Saturday.
This is apparently, according to this is Tartarus. Indomitus doesn't come in until during the heresy.
Okay. So yeah, these 20 Terminators line up on the other end of the bridge with all of the Marines, like all the rest of the company around them, behind them, ready to march on that position. But before they do, Loken essentially looks to Jubal, the guy that he spurned for the position, and says, "Okay, to smooth things over, you lead the spearhead. You lead the tip." Which, in this formation, what they call the spear tip is essentially they're just like driving a wedge straight into the enemy line. So, essentially, Loken is telling Jubal, "Hey, I know I fucked you over a little bit here, so I'm going to make it up to you and let you take the lead here. You're going to be the frontline commander here. Like, all glory to you kind of a thing." And Jubal nods, accepting this like, yeah, first sergeant of the 10th company, let's fucking go. And they begin the assault, and it is not a contest. There is no contest here. The rebels start shooting at the Terminators. Their armor's just taking it. They fire cannons at these guys. Does nothing. They just shrug it off and keep moving, tearing down barbed wire, activating mines with no effect on them whatsoever, and break down the doors to the temple. And 48 minutes. 48 minutes is how long this battle lasts. Not a single casualty to the Luna Wolves at all. It is a slaughter. And after the area is relatively secure, they bring up the Remembrancers that were brought down to come and witness what they did, kind of a thing. Like, yeah, you see all these fucking farmers and people that just wanted us to leave because we were violating their home? Look what we did to them, you know?
We showed them the imperial truth.
Yeah, like, what? Why are you horrified? Why are you aghast at this? What do you mean? What do you mean it's inhumane to blow someone apart with a 75mm frag grenade? It's, they don't take too kindly to it. It's that kind of thing where it's just like, I'm gonna be sick just looking at it. But, while these Remembrancers, along with, what's his name again? Cinderman. They're all down there basically just like, yeah, don't go inside unless you have permission, unless you have someone escorting you, kind of a thing. Just, take your pictures and stuff out here. But back inside the temple, Loken gets a call from Jubal. And Jubal's saying, "Sir, I found Samus." Okay. So, no one knew where this communication was coming from. The enemy did not have communication gear. And so, Loken brings down one of his squads down to where Jubal is. And Jubal is staring into a pond. And his squad is nowhere to be found. That's alarming. So, Loken is asking him, yo, Jubal, where's Samus and where's your squad? And Jubal is just staring into the water and starts spouting nonsense. Like, can't you see it? See what? Can't you see it, sir? The words. Basically, he's watching his officer have a mental breakdown. And Loken's getting a little bit worried and freaked out, and he tells, like, the sergeant of the other squad, like, yeah, get him out of here? And, of course, this sergeant walks up, and he's like, okay, brother, come on. And as he goes to grab Jubal's arm, Jubal, in a flash of lightning, pulls out his bolt pistol, and time freezes for, like, a second. And all Loken sees, as his eyes, like, slowly widen and his mouth drops in horror, is seeing Jubal shoot the other sergeant in the face, killing him instantly, and it's as if Loken's entire world goes right the fuck upside down. Ooh, we had a raid. Thank you. Sorry, I kind of had to mute the alert box. But thank you for the raid.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Hey, welcome. Welcome.
Welcome, new people.
Just so the new people and people that are just joining us know, we are talking about Horus Rising. The first book within the Horus Heresy. We're talking Warhammer 40k. Yeah, we love the raid. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go, chat! Let's go! So, Loken's world has just been flipped upside down.
Something that they were all told was impossible. Astartes versus Astartes.
And here he is now, watching one of his own sergeants, one of his own, shoot his brother in the face. And of course, he starts killing everyone in his way. Doesn't matter who it is. And Jubal starts attacking Loken, and Loken is desperately trying to stop it. And he does beat Jubal. He does kill him. And there's this really rough scene where, like, Jubal's body's about to, like, go over the edge. Because remember, they're up in the mountains. And, like, Jubal's about to, like, go off the edge into, like, the abyss. And Loken is, like, desperately trying to hang on to him. But for some reason, Jubal, like, weighs, like, way more than a normal Marine does. And Loken is yelling at his men, the 3 survivors, to help him. And the 3 survivors, understandably, do not move to help him. Because they're just as shell-shocked as him. In fact, one of them even says, "Why?" But, like, Loken is able to, like, stab the body, make sure that doesn't fall off the edge. And he calls for Cinderman, who is the propagandist I talked about earlier. And Cinderman is quietly brought into the temple, and 3 of the Remembrancers, Euphrates, Keeler, and 2 others, they're just like, "Okay, babysitter's gone, why don't we go inside?" So they trail in after them. And Cinderman is brought to Jubal's body, and he sees Loken, like, he got the shit kicked out of him. And Loken essentially tells Cinderman, like, what the fuck, like, everything that happened, and starts asking him, like, what the fuck was that? Because Jubal started calling himself Samus. So Cinderman is trying to, like, rationalize it away. Like, oh, he was probably mad at you and, like, fell to some trickery or something. No, that's not what happened. Okay, well, if it wasn't that, then probably a disease, you know? That kind of thing. And Loken's accepting that answer. And he's not believing it, but you can tell that he's wanting to believe it. And as Cinderman walks over to the body to inspect it again, Jubal wakes up. But it's not Jubal, it's Samus, the demon. And this corpse, like, rises up and begins to, like, turn into, like, a dog. Kind of a thing. Like, its face starts protruding out like a dog. And starts, like, turning into, like, a chaos spawn or something. And it knocks Cinderman away, it knocks Loken away, it knocks Nero Vipus away, and it charges down into the temple, where it runs into the 3 Remembrancers, and all Euphrates can do is snap a few shots as she screams. And it's fucked, because that's where the chapter ends. And it's here...
I mean, at least... I was gonna say, at least you remember to take photos.
Yeah, at least you remember to take photos. But, the fucked up thing is that this is where you learn that they don't know fuck all about the warp. They don't know demons. They don't know anything.
No, it was just an alien. Just a weird alien.
Yeah, because, like, after this whole situation happens, Loken and Vipus kill the thing before it kills Euphrates. It killed the other 2 Remembrancers, but it did not kill Euphrates. It did not get a chance to. They pumped 90 rounds into this thing to kill it. And Loken is brought to a village where Abaddon is essentially, like, trying to get, like, the whole story out of him. And Abaddon's just like, okay, whatever. I'll hush it up. As everyone will know, there were no casualties. This was a perfect operation. Just a wild beast got out and...
Just a wild alien beast, that's it.
Wild animal. Woo! And of course, like, he says, like, yep, already talked to Cinderman. He knows to keep his fucking mouth shut. I'll talk to Euphrates. I'll figure out where those photos are, kind of a thing. Nothing gets out. But then we start talking to Horus. Horus comes in and talks to Loken directly. And I really like this scene in the book because Horus is telling Loken a very hushed up secret. That there are creatures within the warp that can do possession. They can do stuff. But, like, they're not demons. Let's not get hasty here.
That's superstitious nonsense.
Yeah, it's superstitious nonsense. They're just beings we don't understand. That live in the warp. And that don't think too hard on it. And don't worry, Loki. You didn't fail me here. You didn't fail me. You did exactly as you were told to do. You carried out your orders. You took the mountain. You took the temple. You did everything right. And that doesn't comfort Loken at all. Is this stream recorded so I can watch back? Yes, it will be. I stream on YouTube and Twitch. So my YouTube will have the full record. So, what I really like about this scene is that there's a moment in it where Horus is saying, like, the reason is we can't tell you all about stuff is because it would cause unnecessary panic. And it's the same kind of mentality where the Emperor didn't tell him why he left the Crusade. Throughout the book, they've been, like, talking about the Emperor's absence. It feels weird to not have the Emperor leading this crusade.
Or side by side with his favorite Horus.
Yeah. It's really weird. And there's this really quick, dark moment where Horus is just sitting on a stool. By the way, this is, like, before, like, we got really in-canon sizes about everybody. So, like, Loken and Horus are just sitting on, like, wooden stools. For, like, regular people.
I don't know how that holds up their weight.
It's a Astartes wood.
It's Astartes wood.
Astartes wood. Come by to Dan's
Furniture
Astartes
store.
import. Dan's Astartes furniture store. Everything is rated for Astartes and made by retired Astartes. So support your local veterans community and come on by.
It's very ancient space redwood.
It's mahogany!
It's mahogany. It's space mahogany.
Fucking mahogany.
Where the trees are 12 feet tall and breathe fire! But yeah, there's this really dark moment in that room where Horus kind of just shuts up for a minute. And you can tell, like, he's processing something in his head. Like, he's trying to justify why the Emperor would leave without telling him anything. And then he, like, it's as if, like, he lets the mask slip for a second, but then immediately puts it back on. And then tells Loken, it is what it is. And I like that moment. I like that you see the mask slip, even for just a second. Because it shows that Horus is not who you think he is. He's not this confident, he's not this proud person. He's
not this,
he's
not the
scared.
perfect general.
He's scared.
Yeah, he's not the perfect general the Emperor has been setting him up to be.
Yeah, he's terrified. But he can't show it. And in that one moment, you see that doubt. And, oh, I love that scene so much. But
there's an interesting idea that someone put forward, which is that, like you said, like, he is afraid, but he can't be afraid. Like, not even like he can't be perceived to be afraid. He, like, physically can't feel fear. So how does he process apprehension
it's
or uncertainty?
I like that too, because it's brought up earlier, because while Mercedes is talking to Loken about, like, stories from his past, she asks him, do you guys feel fear at all? Like, do you guys even, like, know what that is? Do you understand the concept of it? And Loken can't answer it. He literally can't. It's foreign to his brain. He does describe, like, I've been unnerved before, but, like, I've never actually felt fear. And that is so fucked up.
They say as well that, like, the reason they don't know fear is because, like, to them, the only thing that poses a real threat to them would be another Astartes, and another Astartes is never going to turn on you.
Yeah. So, after all that shit happens, we cut to, like, weeks later with a different group. Fun fact, we're jumping all over the place now. This is kind of where, like, the book, like, takes a tiny bit of a nosedive, but then, like, immediately starts ratcheting back up. And
I disagree about, like...
I'm talking about, like, just where it jumps to. But, like, it's that kind of, like, moment where we had no build-up for this. That's, like, my only complaint of the book, is that, like, we kind of just jump from place to place. But it's a minor complaint to a fantastic book. We cut to the Emperor's Children on a world called Murder. Essentially, a Blood Angel strike group found a planet, and it was really weird. They didn't really know what to make of it, and they sent down a party, and that party never reported back. And then suddenly the planet just started getting, like, all stormy, and they drip fed Marines into this planet, and they have no idea what the fuck they were doing. And then the Emperor's Children arrived, led by Lord Commander Eidolon, who is the first company captain of the Emperor's Children. He's the Lord Commander. He's Fulgrim's favorite. And he's a fucking frat boy.
Oh yeah.
He is like that college guy who leads, like, the fraternity, and he's a dick. He is a pompous fucking asshole. And he is so arrogant that he says, nah, we don't need to wait for Horus and his barbarians to come save the day. We're gonna drop in all 100 of us in there. Even though, as I just said, they drip-fed the Blood Angels into there, 3 whole companies, and none of them have reported back.
Also, this is 30k, so a company is 1,000 Marines.
Yeah. So, 3,000 Marines, no one can get a hold of them. And Eidolon's such a dickhead, he believes that 100 Emperor's Children can help.
They will succeed where the Blood Angels failed.
And we cut to Saul Tarvitz, a line officer, and Captain Lucius. Yeah, that Lucius. And they've been wandering around for hours in massive stalks, like massive grass stalks of weeds and shit. And just, they have no idea where they are.
Walking.
Yep. 30 men, Lucius Tarvitz and like 28 others just walking around aimlessly in massive grass forests, not knowing where the fuck they're going. And they're fighting giant bugs called megarachnids. By the way, I kept calling them mega arachnids, but it said megarachnids. So I'm an idiot.
I did too.
And these things are terrifying. Like, they attack just as fast as they pop up. And one swipe from them is enough to damage power armor. They can go through it. And it is lightning fast, these things. They attack, they're gone just as fast as they came in. And they're whittling these poor guys down. And eventually, this group that was from 30 men down to 11 by this point, they find that not only do these bugs fly, that's right, they fly now, but they find these giant trees. These weird stone trees. And on those trees are the impaled corpses of not only their allies, like not only like their battle brothers, but the Blood Angels and Imperial military that accompanied them. And oh god.
Yeah, it's bad.
And Lucius just like, well, that's fucked. Well, we should probably move on. That Tarvitz, what the fuck are you doing? I'm gonna go blow it up.
Why?
Because I refuse to leave our brothers and our cousins, like, defiled like that.
Yeah. Doesn't really have a reason. Because I want to blow it up.
Yeah. That's like, he just goes like, I just want to blow it up. Fuck you. And this is where you learn, like, Tarvitz is not an Emperor's children. Like, he's Emperor's children, but he doesn't act like them.
He's in the wrong legion.
Yeah, he's, like, he would probably be better, like, in the Ultramarines, the Luna Wolves, or, like, the Imperial Fists. And... But, so they blow up this tree, and that was the landmark the rest of Eidolon's forces needed to find them. And not only that, it had a secondary effect. The sky above them clears up. These trees are doing something to the weather. And when Eidolon gets there, he fucking chastises Tarvitz for what he did. And it's very clear he's not doing this because, like, Tarvitz fucked up. No, he's doing this because Tarvitz did a smart thing and Eidolon didn't think of it. So Eidolon basically says, like, fine, you can go dig through the rubble and find something to give back to the Blood Angels. Like, go do grunt duty. And it doesn't help that Lucius was kissing Eidolon's ass the entire time, and Eidolon doesn't want to fucking hear it from him, so he sends Lucius to go off with Tarvitz to do it. And I really like this moment in the book. I do. Because, like, Tarvitz is, like, clearly fuming angry. And we get the fucking, this is a robbery. This is a mockery. Don't you mean a robbery? Don't you mean a mockery? Don't you mean a mockery? Fuck, I hope I could find it in the book. It's so funny. Hold on. Where is it? Ah, my god. It's so funny. Because, like, they put it in, like, special quotations, too. Okay, I think I found it. Oh my god. Hold on, I'm sorry. Ah, here it is. Tarvitz led his party out to the ruins of the trees. Lucius was grumbling, as if it was all Tarvitz's fault. Shut up, Tarvitz told him on a closed channel. Consider this ample payback for your kiss-arse display to the Lord Commander. What are you talking about? Lucius asked. I told him it was a waste. I told him it was a waste, Lord, Tarvitz answered, mimicking Lucius's words in an unflattering voice.
Fuck you.
It's so petty, but I love it so much. 'Cause, like, yeah, I'd be pissed too if my friend didn't back me up. Do we learn what faction, if any, the Metal Spiders were from? No, the Mega Arachnids were just their own species. They were just their own race.
I actually have background.
Oh.
I actually have background on this.
Oh.
Dan Abnett has revealed it. He's talked about this on an interview and on our channel. In his original draft of the script, there were a different alien species. He was asked if he could remove them because they didn't want to introduce that alien species initially and at this point. Reading between the lines, they probably were originally meant to be gene stealers.
Ooh.
And they didn't want to introduce Tyranids or gene stealers into the heresy. So he was asked to come up with an alien species that was different to any of the ones in 40k. And so he came up, but just as deadly. So he comes up with giant spiders with swords for arms.
Yeah, Kai Bunny, this is a spoiler stream. I'm sorry, we're talking about the book. Because I just finished reading it to my wife. So... the secondary effect that blowing up that tree had cleared up the storm, which meant that the guys up in orbit, which is now the Luna Wolves, can see down to the ground about what's going on. But there's a short little tidbit here where while Loken's cleaning out the locker, like the room of the guy who was possessed, he finds a silver medallion. It's a lodge medal. And lodges are essentially warrior clubs. They're fraternities. And they are a no-no. Like, you're not allowed to have these, kind of a thing. The Emperor outlawed and forbade them, but some of the legions are doing them, and essentially, like, they're making the excuse of, oh, it's a drinking club. It's just where, like, officers and regular rank and file can just talk and mingle, have a drink, have some food together as equals. And Loken doesn't understand that. He doesn't know that. But it's Aximan who comes up to him after he finds the medal and goes, yeah, I want you to join me. Like, I want you to be my guest. And Loken goes, like, fine, but, like, if there's even a whiff of something fucking wrong, I'm stabbing you. And Aximan goes, yeah, sure, bud, come on. And Aximan leads him down to, like, this long forgotten part of the ship. Because, like, 40k ships are massive. They're huge.
Yeah, remember, battle barges were supposed to take up, and not up to, I think it was an entire chapter, so up to 1,000 Marines could easily fit in one.
Yeah.
Also, this is the Vengeful Spirit. This is
Gloriana class. It's a Gloriana class battleship, which is the biggest battleships the Imperium ever produced. They were the flagships of the
Primarchs.
Of the Primarchs.
Yeah.
They're like only like 24.
Massive.
They're like only 24 of them ever built or something like that.
Yeah, these are massive. This is like a super Star Destroyer in equivalence here, guys. So Loken's brought to like this lodge, this warrior lodge. And he meets like Tarek down there, he meets Nero, like his second in command in the 10th Company, and they convince him like, dude, we're literally just here to like shoot the shit, talk, drink, have fun, tell stories, share knowledge, that kind of thing. It's literally nothing bad. And Loken at first is like very hesitant, but he's convinced by Nero. As like, Loken's not secretive, he doesn't like secrets. And he's worried that like, if this group is secret, how good at keeping secrets are they? How good have they gotten at hiding them? That's my concern. And you can tell it's hand-waved away. Like, they're playing on his naivety a little bit. And they're just like, there's nothing to worry about, kind of a thing. Even though Loken does bring up a good point, a group that's very good at keeping secrets knows how to hide the worst ones.
Yep.
But Loken ends up joining the lodge in the end. Because he's just like, you know what? Yeah, this ain't that bad. I misunderstood the situation. Y'all are just having a good time, and I'm honored that you want me to join in. And after that experience, we cut to Horus and the Monorval dressing down the officers of the other fleets. Essentially, like, in this political situation, Horus is using the Monorval to essentially tell these guys, you done fucked up. But Horus isn't the one saying it. He's the one, like, trying to rein in the dogs, kind of a thing. Like, now, Abaddon, you shouldn't be that harsh. I would have shot them if I could. I would have shot these two. Both at Eidolon's equerry, I'd shoot him in the fucking face, and I'd shoot you in the fucking face, Augustus. You dumb fucking admiral. You stupid piece of shit. That kind of thing. Like, that's how hard these guys are going on them. But, like, Horus is like, hey, they didn't know. They couldn't have known. The equerry and the captain, the equerry and the admiral were just following orders. Even though they were stupid fucking orders, and Horus knows that. But eventually, the meeting ends, and they see that, that storm is breaking up. Wonder what that's about. And Torgodon raises his hand and says, hey, if the storm's breaking up, that means we can go down there to see if anyone's still alive. And of course, like, there's a back and forth, like, I just chastised a bunch of fucking idiots for doing the exact same thing, and now you want to do what we just chastised them over? Yeah, but here's the thing. A, we know that people are down there, and B, the storm's breaking up, so this might be the only window we have. Grills, thanks for the subscribe. How would Star Wars work in Warhammer 40k? It wouldn't.
Yeah. Stop. Please.
Stop
the what ifs.
So, Tarek goes down there and finds that the Emperor's Children's position came under attack by the Mega Arachnids. And after clearing it out, they see that Eidolon's over there at, like, the campfire being a douchebag. Tarvitz, another guy named Bull, and Lucius, who's, like, covered in cement. Because, turns out the Mega Arachnids create the trees through some way of just, like, making their own special cement that influences the weather. And it's just, like, this really funny scene, because Tarek's just staring at Lucius, who's, like, covered in cement. And he's just like, hello. But this leads to the best moment in the book, in my opinion. Second Company Captain Tarek Torgodon dressing down First Captain Eidolon of the Emperor's Children.
Oh my god, this is just...
It is
perfect.
It is the best.
Perfect.
It is the best moment in the book, because Eidolon does not come up to him saying like being grateful for it. He comes up to him talking like a pompous dickhead, basically just like, "Who's in charge around here?" That would be me. I'll respect that you didn't bow to me, Captain Tarek Torgodon. And there's that moment where like Tarek is smiling. And then there's, like, that moment where you just know the smile turned to deadpan. Because his immediate line after that is, I don't know why I ever fucking would. And he proceeds to give a verbal thrashing to Eidolon. And Eidolon, like, refers to him as, like, scum. Like, he's ganger scum. And Tarek doesn't take it. He just shoves it back at Eidolon saying, yeah, I am ganger scum and fucking proud of it.
Yeah, my boy.
And he essentially declaws Eidolon basically by pointing out that you better damn well speak with respect to the War Master's Legion, because he has signed me down here. I speak for Horus here. So when you're talking to me, you better damn well think you're talking to Horus. Because he thinks you're a fucking cretin. But,
Which,
by the way,
telling an Emperor's Children that you, Emperor's Children commander that you fucked up and that it's all your fault is, yeah, they're gonna take that very personally.
It is brutal. Also, like, it's also in this kind of moment where you, like, realize how British this book is. Because, like, there's a, like...
Yeah, this is straight up sharp. Like, this is straight up a sequence from, like, a Sharp book.
It's...
You know.
It's wonderful. I love it. But yeah, like, then... Tarek also... There's also, like, this really funny moment where, like, Tarvitz and Lucius are watching Tarek tear into Eidolon. And...
There's a very... Should we stop him? No, let him cook.
Let him cook. Let him cook. And you can tell that the Emperor's children have never questioned or talked back to their officers, even when they're, like, completely wrong. And it's like watching the world turn upside down for them, because they've never seen this before. And Tarvitz is going... Where Lucius is like, oh my god, he's like such a disrespectful little prick. Tarvitz is going, I've wanted to say those words for years.
Just sitting there with a cup of wine. Preach, daddy, preach!
It is so fucking great. And then later, when they're talking more, Torgodden gets really done with Eidolon shit, walks over to Tarvitz and his group, and says, okay, who actually blew up that tree? What? I know for a fucking fact that pissant didn't come up with that idea. Which one of you fuckers blew up the tree? And Tarvitz is, like, trying to go, like, it was Eidolon's idea. He just wants to, like, try and smooth things over. But it's Bull. One of the members of Tarvitz's squad, Bull, speaks up and says, no, it was Tarvitz's idea. And Tarek says, really? I'd believe that. Why'd you blow up the tree?
No, I love the, oh, it was Tarvitz's idea? Okay, why?
Yeah, and...
Like, alright, I'll humor this.
And Tarvitz tells him, like, I didn't know it would clear up the storm. I just didn't want my brothers and our cousins' corpses defiled. And Torgon just looks at him and goes, I like you. I like you a lot. Come on, Tarvitz! You're gonna show me how to blow up some trees.
I love Tarvitz's responses. I didn't know it would work. I was just really pissed about what they were doing to the bodies. It was just, I just got really lucky, and Torgan's like, yeah, you did. But that's good, because it means you learn now.
You learned.
Also,
we learned, you got real lucky, and that's okay, because now we have very important information.
It's interesting historical context, but
oh, you know what?
Saul Tarvitz is the oldest character in the canon of 40k that is in this book.
You know what I just realized? It just occurred to me slightly that Saul Tarvitz could be described as, I believe it's Teddy Roosevelt who said this, which is, I find that I am luckier the more things I do.
But yeah, essentially, after that situation, they blow up more trees, they clear more of the sky out for more reinforcements to come land, and eventually the Blood Angels show up and Sanguinius arrives. Oh my god, I forgot how he wrote Sanguinius in these books. He's very...
I have a question about... Go ahead, I'll ask later.
He's very solemn in this book, is the word I'm going to use today. He's very much, like, reserved, he's controlled, but, like, he's also very humorful. Like, he's got a sense of humor to him, and he brings out the best in Horus. It's like, he's that comforting arm that Horus can lean on. And you feel that.
Mere presence makes him feel better.
Yeah, Horus and Sangu usually were like, oh, no one hated these two. They were so nice. They were so great. They were the best.
And
even Angron didn't like anyone. Liked Sanguinius and Horus, or at least tolerated them more than the others.
And for like 6 months they wage war on murder. They're burning nests. It's like a good old time. It's like a baptism in fire for them, just washing away the sins of 6319.
They wage war on murder?
Yeah, they call the planet murder.
Yep.
Let's bring murder to murder. That's a line in the fucking book.
that's so funny. That's so funny.
It's because the distress call from the first Blood Angels expedition that the Emperor's children intercepted, the only words they could make out is "This world is murder."
Yeah.
Amid the screams.
Amid the screams. Is this book? Does Horus already know about the Red Thirst?
Probably.
I think he finds out, maybe?
It's very hard to tell which book it's in, but in Fear to Tread, which is the first Blood Angels book for the Horus Heresy, there is a prologue in the book where it is Horus finding Sanguinius, executing a Marine who gave into the Red Thirst. I can't tell if it's on murder or if it's before that. It's really vague.
I think it's meant to be before, because I think the implication is by this point Horus knows all of his brother's weaknesses.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's
Except for
meant to know
Gilliman,
that.
who like has no weakness really.
No, he does. But like, and Horus does.
In False Gods, he revealed, like, False Gods, the second book, which is the book I'm reading now with my wife. There's a scene where Horus is essentially airing out all the Primarch's dirty laundry as he's dying. There's a whole scene for it. But we don't know when he learned it. But we do know that he does know it probably either by the end of this book or before it. We just don't know when he did. It happens in a ruined building, doesn't it? I thought it was out in the open. I can't remember Fear to Tread that much. Listen.
I don't mean to go on a tangent, but I'm now kind of curious what Gilliman's weakness is, or greatest weakness.
Gilliman is not willing to go the extra mile for victory.
Yeah.
He is very stuck in his ways.
He's one to cut his losses and not change.
If the only way to victory is a nuke, he's not willing to do it. Horus is the one that will push the button.
Yeah.
So
Horus,
I imagine. Okay.
Horus thinks he's not blood. Horus thinks he's not got the killer instinct, basically.
Yeah, and it's sort of true he doesn't. But that's because, like, Gulliman's reserved in that way.
Gulliman has a temper, we've seen it, but he keeps it in check.
Yeah. And the reason why he doesn't go above and beyond like Horus does is because he doesn't believe in a short war is a good war. He doesn't believe in terrifying a group of people into compliance. He wants to leave worlds better than he found them.
I can only imagine Dorn and Perturabo's flaw being similar-ish. Because I imagine Dorn's he's just too damn stubborn.
He's unimaginative. He's
really?
Predictable.
That's the flaw.
Yeah.
Not the fact that he's so fucking stubborn he would actually sooner throw himself on spikes.
No, that's
than
what
give
makes
in.
him predictable.
Yeah.
And Perturabo is petulant. It's very easy to anger him into motions of attack.
He's a man-child. Vulcan's too kind. Sanguinius. I don't know about Sanguinius.
Sanguinius is perfect.
Yeah.
But
Like,
Sanguinius
that's
is
his
too
flaw,
perfect.
or he has no flaw.
He's too perfect, and if you crack the mirror, he will break.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he's like he's like what Fulgrim thinks he is.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
Fulgrim is pride.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the story. They wage war on murder for 6 months. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a fleet appears. I forgot to mention this earlier, but around Murder, there are satellites. And they're giving off a frequency, and Horus compares it to, like, listening to music. They have no idea what the fuck any of this means. They actually think it's mega-arachnid technology. But then this fleet shows up, and everyone's like, what the fuck? Oh my god! Get your weapons ready! Like, don't fire till they fire, but, like, get ready! And those ships start communicating with them, going, what the fuck are you doing?
Stop!
Also,
Everything, stop!
Also, they even say like from very like even from like the appearance of the ships that arrive, they are not the same strength, but they are comparable to the Imperial ones that are there.
Yeah, it's fucked. But this is the alien group known as the Interrex. Human Alien Empire. And
Thanks, Erebus.
It's the Federation.
It's the Federation! Turns out that Murder, which, they just called it like a different name for Spider or something? Like, they called Murder something else.
Not Murder. They called it Peace, because 40K is not the most creative group.
Where is it? They called it something else. Uri Sirach. Uirsarach.
That's a mouthful. Like, that's a mouthful.
I can't find a definition for it.
I think I prefer the Imperium's name better.
I can't
It's
find a
simplistic
translation
and
for it. How in depth do the Horus Heresy books go into the Istvan massacre? That's the entire third book.
Yep.
Also, which Istvan massacre?
Yeah, there's two.
Istvan 3 Atrocity.
I'm gonna be real. Istvan 3 went from like, oh, we're gonna massacre them to, God, why are they dug in so hard?
Yeah, that... God, we'll get there when we get there. But, so, essentially, the Interrex inform the Imperium... Like, inform Horus, Sanguinius, and all the Marines that, like, yeah, no, this was a reservation world. What? Well, you see, we fought the Mega-Arachnids back in the day, and we didn't feel like we had the right to exterminate them after we beat them. Because, like, we can't understand them. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it doesn't have a right to live.
Which, Horus really
you know
likes.
You know what this reminds me of? Short tangent. In Stellaris, there's a world you can occasionally find of a bunch of like geckos that are like fanatical purifiers that were popped into a shield. That's exactly what this sounds like.
So, Horus takes an immediate liking to this because he's desperate. He's desperate to try and find other ways of conducting the crusade. And where everyone around him is saying like, nah, these guys are Xenos worshippers, dude. They got Xenos with them. They're alien. Like, completely to us. They deserve to be exterminated. Horus is not backing down. He is 100% like, no. I want to find other ways to deal with this. I don't want to kill everyone we meet. We failed at 6319. I don't want to fail here.
A reasonable want. I don't want to have to keep killing everyone we come across.
And you can see where he's coming from. This is like where the mask is gone. It is Horus speaking his fucking mind. And you see Horus as like this person who's like, yeah, no, fuck this. We ravaged someone's home because we just found them out of the blue. And I'm being pulled in every which way and direction. There's a whole scene where a bunch of fucking bureaucrats come from Terra with no care about what they're doing. They just come aboard, and this pompous bitch looks Horus directly in the eyes and says, yeah, so those worlds that you blow up, they have to start paying taxes immediately. Yeah, that always smooth thing over with a planetary population, right? You bomb their homes, you kill their friends and family, and now you're basically telling them, pay me.
Man, tax me. For the privilege of blowing up your world.
Tell a man that he has a new master, he does not blink, he just carries on what he's doing. Tell a man that he has to pay, he's gonna get his pitchfork.
I love the fact that in a lot of the Horus heresy, the breaking point is, what do you mean taxes that weren't done by Gilliman, so they're fair?
Those orders came from Malkador, right? It's never confirmed. Horus actually suspects that Malkador and the Emperor don't know what the Council's doing. Because they would have never signed off on that.
Yeah, it's in Valdor's Primarch book. It's not Primarch, but his Valdor's book. The head of the Administratum is basically a member of an incredibly rich aristocratic family from America.
Get it?
Who had to be given an important position in the government because he basically surrendered America to the Emperor, and he's put in charge of money because he's wealthy.
That is the worst. That is the dumbest logic. It's one thing when it's like a rogue trader. Oh, that's a terrible logic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because at least the rogue trader is told, go out into the deepest reach of space.
So, Horus is having to deal with that, while also dealing with the Dark Angels actually wanting to talk to him. Lionel wants to talk to him. Something that even Horus is surprised by, because he's like,
what?
I thought you hated me. And Alfarius is brought up.
Oh no.
I have no, again, this is before Legion. This is before, the Alpha Legion was, I am Alfarius. This was when they were, mustache-twirling evil guys, kind of a thing.
They were basically the Imperium's version of the CIA at that point.
Not even that.
They were alphabet agency, but objectively
let Will speak. Let Will speak.
Yeah.
They weren't even they were literally just like, haha, I have plans within plans. Everything is going according to my plan, even though the plan up to this point makes no sense whatsoever.
Zeech, is that you?
But again, go back and play Dawn of War. That's what the Alpha Legion is like. They are like, yeah, we are evil.
Yeah, Sindri, all that kind of stuff, Lord Bale.
I don't mean to know, but yeah, no, that just sounds like Zeech.
So,
that sounds so much like Zeech.
Alfarius sends plans to Horus where it's like, yeah, there's this whole sector of space that we can take. I just need your go-ahead. And Horus is going, this will literally take resources that we don't have. I can't accept this. I can't do this. I cannot commit to this campaign. And he's getting yelled at in every which way or direction. And it gets so bad that, when Abaddon's, telling him, no, you have to kill the Interrex, you have to invade. They get into a screaming match. It's a full, uncomfortable watching your brother argue with dad.
God, and Abaddon wasn't Abaddon one of the favorites too?
He's first captain. He's Horus's right hand.
That is watching your father screaming at his eldest, his favorite son. That's uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it's like not even Tarek can like bring down the temperature in the room. And like Loki and Aximan are like frozen like this, just listening to it all. And like Horus yells at Abaddon to get the fuck out. And Abaddon leaves in a huff. After spitting on the floor, by the way. I just remembered that. Like, holy shit. And
Yikes.
it is...
That's war.
You could feel your heart pounding after reading that. And it's so uncomfortable. It is so wild and so out of fucking left field. I have a question. Does the Imperial League rest on the shoulders of Robuke Gulliman?
At the moment?
At the moment, yes.
Yeah.
Please don't spam your question, please. Pretty please. But yeah, so here Horus essentially goes over why he doesn't want to kill the Interrex. He goes into like the whole, I want to try a new path. I want to see if we can reason. Maybe the Emperor would try something new if shown a different way. I want to try it my way. And Sanguinius is backing him up. He's like, yeah, no, like, fully on board with it. And
Okay, let's do this.
Because Sengi is best boy.
And Horus also explains that he feels like he needs a win. He needs something of his own. He doesn't want to be left in the shadow of the Emperor. He wants to be his own person, and he wants the respect that he has deserved. Because he's the War Master, but he feels like everyone's talking down to him. And it's rough. It's really rough reading that. Because you're reading... It feels like you're reading a burnt-out gifted kid.
Exactly what you're reading.
And... yeah, where everyone's telling him, like, you should kill them. He's going, no, I refuse. And he does this for months. They go to, like, the Interrex's outer worlds. And they go to this place, Zenobia. There we go. My god. They go to this planet. They go to, like, the capital city of this planet called Zenobia. And they can tell that the Interrex are keeping them at an arm's length. They don't know why. They know for a fact that, like, the Interrex are interested in them, but they're holding them at an arm's length. They're talking down to them, and, like, they're being treated as if they're different. Not like you're alien different, like, yeah, you stand over there, kind of a thing. And
Like, we just met you and we don't know what to do with you, but you made us mad, kind of.
not mad. The word is not mad. Cautious.
Yeah.
Incredibly cautious.
And during a dinner with the planet's leader, Loken is put on guard duty. And here he meets with the planet overlord's, like, right-hand man. And
They really hit it off.
They hit it off. They start talking. And Loken's looking at a book. And it's, like, talking about, like, the dangers of sorcery and chaos. But not spelled C-H-A-O-S. It's K-A-O-S.
Get it.
What?
And even weirder, they were taken to a museum earlier where there was strange weapons that they didn't understand were in stasis fields. And the Imperials were looking at them like, the fuck is this? Like, what's so important and great about this weapon? Why is it in a stasis field? Why does it need to be preserved? Kind of a thing. It's just a fucking dagger. But then, this guy, he realized, like, this officer that's talking to Loken, he realizes that Loken has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. And he starts
Doesn't
to
know what
laugh.
chaos is.
He starts to laugh. Not like out of like, you're a fucking idiot, but like, oh my god, we got you so wrong. Like, laughing out of relief. And Loken has no idea why he's laughing, and this guy goes on to explain it. The Whisperheads, at like the battle in the mountain and everything, he explains that, no, like, the warp is evil, dude. Like, this whole thing, demons, everything, they're real, Loken. They are so very real.
They are real, and they are here to do horrible things to you.
Yeah, like,
They will bend you over and eat your booty.
they are the antithesis to us. They are the great enemy, Loken. And Loken's like, okay, but then why were you treating us so weirdly and differently? We thought you were chaos. Like,
We
look
thought
at
you
you
followed
guys. You're all dressed for war. Like, you have a high lenience to war. You don't have an emperor. You don't have a general. You have a war master.
You know,
That's chaos speak to us.
like, thinking about it, the Imperium really does read chaos if you just look at them at a glance.
Yes, but like this officer is so happy and relieved. And like he's like, "No, I gotta tell my superior about this. We got you guys so wrong. This, like, it was a complete misunderstanding, a complete fuck up on our part. Oh my god, when he learns this, he's gonna laugh."
It's gonna be just a one big
The
great
radio turns
laugh.
on. The radio turns on. His radio. And everything falls apart. The Interrex are the example of what the Imperium could be, but also those who are so fearful of the past, they do not wait to learn. Instead of listening to Loken and explaining to him what the fuck is going on, he immediately assumes the worst. I didn't say this before, but Erebus showed up in this book.
Yes,
Erebus
that fucker.
joined them on the trip to the Interrex, along with a squad of word bearers. And
that's when Loken noticed certain changes amongst the warrior lodges.
no, that's
question.
not in this book.
That's on that
Quick
book? I thought it was that book.
Nope. Next
No,
book.
that's next book.
Quick question. Does this book take place chronologically, at least after the burning of Monarchia?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Monarchia was like 20 years ago.
Oh boy. Oh no.
But, oh, Erebus.
No.
They write Erebus in this book to be so polite. He's so friendly. He's like,
Oh no.
he is seen as like an equal to Abaddon, and he's just like, he's giving good advice. So you would never suspect him.
Oh no.
And
He's
then,
everyone's friend.
and the situation's so confusing, because they're being accused of attacking the museum. The Ludawolves are being accused of attacking the museum. Your warriors were there. They burnt the museum. They killed the curator. And Loken's
They
going like,
stole an artifact.
what? Like, the Interrex are assuming that, oh, nice one. Very close, very clever, Chaos Worshippers. You nearly had us. You nearly seduced us. But we will not give in. We will not be tricked again.
You know, a slight tangent. God, do they sound almost like the Imperium? Like the Interrex are just towing that line. They're not quite there yet, but God, is it close?
They're just as paranoid. But you kind of have to be when it comes to chaos.
Yeah.
Chaos is very insidious.
Don't fuck around with chaos.
But the situation could have been smoothed over if the Interrex just asked Horus, yeah, some Marines attacked our place. You mind explaining that? And then Horus would have been able to figure it out and go, no, my Luna Wolves wouldn't have done that. But you said Astartes were there. I'm not gonna say you're lying to me, but we're gonna figure this out. They would have figured out it was the word bearers, but the Interrex don't know the difference between the guys in red and the guys in white.
Yeah. Which it's kind of understandable that they would just assume they're all the same group of people under the same banner.
Exactly.
It'd be like a foreign country, like let's say the U.S. Marines raid and pillage a foreign country, and then the army shows up. That foreign country is not gonna be like, oh, the army's here. They're gonna be like, oh god, these fuckers again.
Yeah. So Horus is entirely, like, he's fucking so depressed. He's losing it. Because he's, like, screaming, this is wrong. What the hell's happening? I don't understand. As, like, he's being shot at. And Loken and Tarek Torgadon manage to get Horus out. And as they're, like, trying to load him onto a boat, Horus says, no, we're going to the museum. We're going to go find out what the fuck happened. And they go off to the museum and learn that, like, yeah, something was stolen, but the Interrex are not being forthcoming. They're being very secretive. And it leads to, like, this massive battle. And it's brutal. It's depressing. You were so close. It was like you had the goal in your hand, and it was ripped away from you.
I do have a theoretical question for you, boss.
Save it for a second. And
Okay.
the book ends. The book ends with three things. One, Loken talking to Mercedes about what happened. Erebus putting the anathema into a protective case and heading out towards a planet that Loken says, yeah, apparently a planet uprose against us. We're heading to Davin.
Oh no.
You know, the planet where everything goes wrong. That's how book 1, Horus Rising, ends. Yeah, sorry, we're talking Horus Rising. Sorry. But yeah, an incredible fucking book. Ah, oh, damn it, I didn't talk about the sparring match. Shit.
One of the best parts.
Fuck! So there's a quick interlude in the book where Lucius, Tarvitz, join Loken, Abaddon, Aximan, and Torgadon in the sparring cages with Erebus. And Lucius beats Erebus, by the way. Like they consider that very impressive. And Tarek yells out to Lucius, Loken's next! And Loken's like, I don't want to go in there! What the fuck? And of course, like, they bully him into going in there. Like, 3 older brothers bullying their little brother. But this is where you learn that Loken's not a pushover. He looks at Lucius as, like, he's doing, like, his little, like, swords dance kind of a thing. And he's just like, you know, you're not, like, sword fighting isn't everything in a fight, right? And Lucius is like, yeah, I know. Come on, like, raise your weapon. I'm gonna beat you in one.
Fight me.
I'm gonna beat you in one move. Move. Yeah, whatever. Lunges at Loken. Loken sidesteps, grabs his arm, and then socks him in the fucking face. It's hilarious. And, like, he's walking away as Lucius is, like, cursing at him.
How dare you not fight with any honor?
That wasn't even fighting dishonorably. That wasn't even cheating. That was just fighting.
Yeah, no, like, Lucius thought this was like a sword duel, but, like, no, it's a cage fight.
Yeah, like that wasn't even cheating. That was just a fight.
Breaks his nose if I remember correctly. Yeah, no, he straight up breaks his nose. You find that out in Fulgrim. It's great.
That's not great. Yeah,
Oh,
I have-
Fulgrim, that wonderful book.
I can't
I have
talk
a
about
theory.
that book without community guidelines.
Yeah, it's not a to the chat. It's not a bad book. It's a fantastic book, but there's several things that
Guidelines.
happen in it.
You know what? Matt? I'll put it to you this way: if you want to know why Boss can't talk about this book in your own time, look up the Maraviglia. I think I pronounced that right.
I think it's.
That's not even the only reason. That's just
Well,
the
is
biggest
it
one.
Maraviglia or is it Maraviglia?
I think it's Viglia. I've heard Viglia.
I'm asking Will because he's from that part of the world.
It probably is Maraviglia.
Okay, thank you.
So, to my theoretical boss, let's say Erebus caught a 50 cal round from an orc sniper way before this, and never managed to influence Lorgar to turn to chaos. Do you think, hypothetically,
Well, it
the
wasn't.
Emperor might have been okay with Horus's plan to do things like the Interrex?
So it
Or
wasn't
do you
just
think he was
Erebus, it was
not?
Cor Pharon as well. We just hate Erebus
Pharon is-
because Erebus is more prominent.
Pharon
Well,
is
let's
like
say they
weird.
both had to fit. The point, neither of them are here, and Lorgar hasn't turned to
the
chaos.
question you're asking is if,
Think-
like, the Horus Heresy couldn't happen.
Yeah. Like, not even that. Just would the Emperor have it been okay with Horus pulling the? We can do it like they're doing it. We don't have to murder everyone and shoot to kill
No.
everything.
Oh, it's revealed very much later in the series that the gods of chaos are working against the Emperor. The Emperor seems to have made some sort of deal with the Chaos powers at some point prior to the Great Crusade, and at the time that he made that, the Chaos gods had already put into place their plans to beat him.
Yeah, there was.
I'm
thinks he's outsmarting that.
I'm saying
He's
if everything had gone right and Horus's plan to go to the Emperor with how the Interrex are doing and how he wants to do the crusade, do you think the Emperor would
No.
have been like, yeah, son,
No,
go
the Emperor
for it?
would
Or
never have gone with
no,
it.
no.
The Emperor is a
No.
human supremacist.
Yep.
Like, he is so fucking racist.
The way the way the Eldar look down on humans, the Emperor looks down on everyone else.
Which I find funny because the Emperor looked at the Eldar as what he wanted
think he's a-
humanity to be, or at least the blueprint for his whole Webray project.
Yeah, so. No, the Emperor would never have gone with it. In fact, he probably would have chewed Horus out for it.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Would he even gotten the spanking like Monarchia?
Yeah, almost certainly.
Almost certainly, yeah. But yeah, so Horus Rising is such a good book. It's such a good read. It really does hit you in the face with Imperium bad, constantly. It's very much you are seeing the Imperium at its peak, and at the end of the book. At the end of the book, you've reached that cliff, and now it's down from here. How can things get worse? And it is... Oh.
It can always get worse.
I do find it funny that this is the Imperium at its peak and it's already horrible, and you ask, how can it get worse? Oh
Easily.
boy,
Oh,
Very easily.
oh boy.
how did it get worse than this?
It
It's
is
already horrible.
It is really, really... This is what frustrates me about Modern 40k as well, and I'm really happy about the Primaris Marines. The Marines are actually characters in this book. Blokin, Aximan, Abaddon, Tarek, they're all characters. They all have personalities. They're human. And I like that. But they're so they treat themselves as being apart from humanity, even though they are so painfully human. And I love this look at Primarchs. I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to get into the head of a Primarch unless it's like modern 40k. In 30k, I prefer it when our Primarchs are like, they're there, but we are not in their head. I prefer Primarchs like that. You see them from the perspective of others. And
they're paragons in 30k, and that's how they should stay.
yeah.
You start to get too in their heads, they lose their shine.
And I like how this book, because for the longest time, we knew nothing about Horus. We didn't know why he betrayed. We didn't know why he did what he did. We don't even know why the Emperor promoted him to War Master. Like, why was Horus so important? Who was this guy? And why the fuck should we care? And this book shows you why you should care. Why you should be interested and invested in Horus's story. And I like that you could see Horus is trying, but he's failing. Or at least he believes he is. He tells Loken in the book, like, you didn't fail me. You took the fucking you took the temple. You killed the rebels. Yeah, sure. Like, Jubal died, but like that was out of your control. He
Horus
isn't
really.
he isn't
left
putting
that.
into practice what he's saying.
Yeah, Horus definitely needs
6319 wasn't his fault. Yeah, sure, like they should have left it alone, but like what happened to Jubal, like what happened to Serjanus wasn't Horus's fault. He was acting in good faith. What happened at the Whisperheads wasn't Horus's fault either.
I think they did a really good job with this book because they don't give you too much about Horus and his past, because the point is that the point is the fall.
Yeah.
And they do a really good job setting up the fall.
But yeah, as this user points out here on TikTok, it also shows you just how like manipulative he can be. He's a politician. He's a general. You see how scummy he can get. He uses the vulnerable as attack dogs to get what he wants. You see all sides of him, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You see him on the steps of the museum crying out like, I can't do this. This is too hard. He's a person. And I like that so much. He's a demigod of war. Like, do not get me wrong. He's terrifying. He charges into a line of, like, fucking cyborgs with nothing but a bolter and a sword and robes. No armor. He just charges on in.
They're terrifying. The Primarchs are terrifying, and for a lot of cases, it's their planets that are the reason why they're as human as they are, or inhuman in Kurz's case. And there's a lot of people I've seen speculating, like, if Chaos had not done half of what they did, there's a good chance the Emperor's plan would have worked.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
It was never going to.
Well, yeah, because he fucked over. He fucked him over.
The Emperor.
He made a deal with the devil and then tried to fucking skip town.
Well.
Yeah, he never realized the game was rigged from the start.
Yeah. The Emperor is essentially
or
like.
Even if he did think the game was rigged, he thought he could work.
Yeah, he thought he
could get out of it.
So
he thought he could cheat the deck.
The Emperor is basically both the story of Prometheus. What's the story of the wax wings again?
Icarus.
He's Prometheus, Icarus, the guy who makes the deal with the devil. He's those three characters.
Mephistopheles.
Is it Mephistopheles? I'm trying to think of the fucker who.
Mephistopheles is the guy that is the demon that the guy makes the deal with.
I was thinking of Sisyphus, the guy who's trying to cheat death and has to roll a boulder up the hill.
You
now.
mean
He's
you're
trying-
talking about Faust?
Yeah, Faust. The Emperor is Faust, Icarus, and Prometheus. He stole power from the gods. He flew too close. He flew too close to the sun, and now the demons are demanding he pay up. You want to know where the Emperor got the power to make the Primarchs and all the fucking Space Marines and Custodes? He made a Faustian bargain, and thought he could get out of it. He thought he was smarter than eldritch beings
that are older than time.
Yeah, and Korn, Nurgle, Slanesh, and Tzeentch weren't having that shit. If he thinks they're that fucking stupid, think again, bucko.
Learn from...
Hell hath no fury, like a chaos god scorned. And there are very few things that these four fuckers will ever agree on. If someone fucks all of them over, nah, bitch, you're the pinata now.
The great game must go on, and we don't fucking like cheaters.
Exactly. Would I say the old ones created the Tyranids?
Like
No.
No, they didn't.
They did not create the Tyranids. The Tyranids are their own thing entirely.
The Tyranids are... So, if I remember correctly, the Tyranids are like extraterrestrial horror. It's
Extragalactic.
xenomorph horror. Yeah. It's xenomorph horror. Chaos is eldritch horror. Just incarnate.
Yeah. Can you read the Siege of Terra series without reading the other Horus Heresy books? You can, but I would not recommend it.
It provides a lot of context.
You will be missing a lot of context.
You'll be going like, who the fuck is Rogaldorn? Who the fuck is Garo? Who the fuck is Loken? I would recommend reading Horus Rising, and like you have to read all the 4 first books. You have to read Horus Rising, False Gods, Galaxy in Flames, and Flight of Eisenstein, and then it's kind of just pick your path to Siege of Terra.
I think there is like a list somewhere on the internet of like, here is basically the bare bones minimum that you really need to read in general, not following one legion, to understand the heresy.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's so broad strokes in the way it's written.
If you want a straight shot to the Siege of Terra, I recommend reading the Imperial Fist line of books, which really is like only Mechanicum, where they show up, Praetorian of Dorn, and Titan Death, I think? I'm trying to remember.
I think so. What's the one where he fights Alfarius?
That's Praetorian of Dorn.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to follow the Blood Angels to the Siege of Terra, because the Blood Angels story ties in with the Dark Angels and Ultramarines, you read Fear to Tread, Unremembered Empire, Angels of Caliban, and then you read Ruin Storm, which then gets you to the Siege of Terra. Then for... Hello?
Hello? Yes?
I could hear myself through you.
Oh, sorry. I thought I turned the stream down.
So, for White Scars, because White Scars are also there, you'll read Scars and Path to Heaven. And that gets you to where you need to go. Then there is like the Traitor... if you want to follow the Traitor Legion story to there, you just pick a Traitor Legion and follow them to Terra. Oh, we got raided again? Holy shit. Hello! Hello, welcome! We're talking Warhammer.
Don't pick the Night Lords. The Night Lords are complicated.
The Night Lords don't even get a fucking book. They get a ton of fucking anthology short stories. It's terrible.
Yep.
It's annoying.
The only...
Well, to be fair, again, like, at the same time their series was coming out in 40k, and they're not that different.
They're really not. if you want to read the Night Lord story in the Horus Heresy, you read all the Dark Angels books, which I warn you now, are not that good. They're really not. It hurts.
Fallen Angels is good.
Fallen Angels is good. I like Fallen Angels. I like Angels of Caliban, which is the one where it's Lionel versus Conrad. But like every other book is a slog. Oh my god. Because like the Dark Angels books are constantly jumping back and forth between the Lion and what's going on with Luther. And
again, this goes back to the thing of like this goes back to what do you call it? Artifacts of when they thought this was going to be a much shorter series. The Dark Angels canonically do not do much during the Heresy. Their story takes place after the Heresy. The Ultramarines, historically, prior to the series coming out, literally do nothing during the Heresy. They are just not involved.
They're
the
late.
Battle of Calth was the Battle of Calth was not a thing prior to this series.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff got added in later when people
Yeah,
were like,
a
"I like
lot.
the other people."
But like, so like, but you.
Oh shit, Hoodguard!
the Dark
Fuck!
Angel-
I didn't see that. Oh my god, Hoodguard! Sorry. Hoodguard's in the chat. Hey! Oh my god! How you doing, mate? Sorry, I interrupted you. I was just like, oh my god, Hoodguard.
It is your stream.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I was the raid. Damn! Thanks for the raid, my guy. Shit, I didn't see that. I'm so sorry. I had to turn off the alert box. I gotta turn that back on now. Fuck! I'm so sorry. Ah! I turned it off because I was trying to talk about Horus Rising. I'm so sorry.
One debt to society later.
Oh my god, Hood, thanks for the sub. Oh, no, that's Aramis who gets to the sub. Thank you. Thank you, Aramis. Do the events of the Death Guard happen during Horus Heresy or a different series? Nope, they happen during. To follow the Death Guard story, you read Flight of Eisenstein.
You can jump straight to the very dagger.
Where the hell's that timeline? Hold on.
It's basically Flight of Eisenstein and then just jump straight to Buried Dagger.
Really? Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Oh,
like the old-
no. Oh, no.
Yes.
Someone's got to keep an eye on the gifts. Yeah. Oh, Aramis is a gifty boy. Yeah, Aramis has a nickname in our server that's hilarious. Aren't Mortarians wings moth wings? I think they're either moth wings or fly wings.
I think they're fly wings.
Is ever that rustling in the background? Please stop. Please stop. Who's ever that rustling in the background?
Hello.
I'm gonna mute him. Mute. Ah, there we go. There's a rule if you're joining the stream that you have to try to keep the background noise to a minimum. I understand like a little bit, but like anyway, where the fuck is the Death Guard books? I know it's Flight of Eisenstein. But then like, where does it Is it really only Buried Dagger?
Someone has wind playing into their mic. I hear it.
Christ, guys, why did the Death Guard get so little love?
A lot of their stuff, to be fair, is in Siege of Terra.
Right, yeah.
Like a lot of the confrontations with Mortarion and his brothers are in Siege of Terra, or like he's in Scars.
Oh yeah, no, their story's tied in with the White Scars too. Shit.
Yeah.
Oops. But yeah, Death Guard story is tied in with the White Scars. It's tied into Buried Dagger. It's brutal. Also, thanks for the sub, Aramis. Yeah, thank you, Aramis. Like to keep the Vox chatter to a minimum. Hashtag Space Marine 2. Yo, what books are good if I want to know more about Sanguinius? The first book in the first book for the Blood Angels and Horus Heresy is Fear to Tread. That book is basically mostly Sanguinius' perspective. So if you want a good book on Sanguinius' perspective, you read Fear to Tread.
He also has there's also a novella about Sanguinius.
Yeah. It is fun. But, yeah, what armies do you play on the tabletop? I play Thousand Suns, World Eaters, Ultramarines, well, my Wardens of Macragge, which is Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines, Sisters of Battle now, and Orcs. I like my power armor. I know I have a problem. Shaving me is only going to make it worse. I lurk for the most part. I help decide what books are library stocks. What should I have them order for people interested? If you want to get people into Warhammer, my recommendations are the Dark Imperium trilogy. So that's Dark Imperium, Plague War, and Godblight. Those 3 books. Those are perfect beginner books. There is the Watchers on the Throne series.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Horus Heresy's first 4 books, which is Horus Rising, False Gods, Galaxy in Flames, and Flight of the Eisenstein.
I will say that the Watchers of the Throne series is a lot more heavy on the politics.
It is very politically charged.
Yeah, because it is mainly about the Custodes, and that's like 99% of what they do now.
But if
It's
you
just
want
deal with the High Lord's bullshit.
But if you want to learn how the Imperium works as a bureaucracy, you can't find a better book than that.
Yeah.
A good.
Carrion Throne is
Also-
great for that.
I was gonna say also because it's a stereotypical answer. Xenos by Dan Abnett is the first of the Eisenhorn trilogy. Eisenhorn is also a really excellent entry point if you don't want to have a book that focuses on Space Marines.
Yep. Caiaphas Cain is
any-
also a good one.
Yeah, any of the Imperial Guard books.
But if you're not wanting Marine on Marine or like human, there is the Twice Dead King, which is Necron focused. There is the Path series, which is Eldar
Infinite
focused.
Divine.
There's a few new
Infinite-
Orc books, which is great.
Infinite of the Dying, which is also another Necron's book.
I have a
Um,
slightly long question. Okay, ask it away.
Ask it,
Hoodguard, do you
yeah.
have any Hoodguard, do you have any recommendations? I'll have to unmute Hollow from. There we go.
What's another? I'm trying to think of like other things that like aren't Imperium books.
Again, Brutal Cunning is an excellent orc.
Yeah.
Excellent orc book. It is just it's orcs versus the Mechanicus, and it's hilarious.
Red is my fan. Reading as fast as my hand can go.
For Chaos, there's the Iron Warriors Omnibus, Night Lords.
There's the Black Legion, 2
Yep,
books.
Word Bears also have a Omnibus as well.
I really enjoyed the Living
Um,
Saint books. Can you explain the train of thought of Horus during his interactions with Magnus? Not really?
Yeah, that's a difficult one.
Like, if you're talking about him, like, trying to convince Magnus to fight alongside him at the Siege of Terra, it is literally like, yeah, they wanted to kill you, you know? You should get that payback! Which is just lying straight to his face.
Which Magnus kind of
What?
knows he's lying to his face, but what other options does he have it right now?
You should have the link tree Discord to the related links on Twitch. Oh, fuck. Brain.
Well, I'm going to head off. It was nice listening to all y'all.
Nice
Have a nice
listening to
night,
you.
boss.
Yeah.
In Angels of
Um,
Death, when Kazarion was feeling himself dear to succumbing to the Black Rage, he told... Oh, right, there's limited characters. Shit. When all other resources is deemed insufficient, when the throne world itself stands square in the path of peril, There are the Adeptus Custodes unleashed for such crucial theaters of war where defeat could bring the ruin of mankind itself. It is our solemn duty to provide these heroes with the very finest weapons and armor that humanity can provide. To do any less would be foolish, dishonorable, and tantamount to heresy of the highest order.
What?
Not a question.
Yeah.
No, that was in Twitch, not TikTok. Did you get your
Holy
background? Did you get your background figured out?
Holy wall of text.
Was
And I did get my background figured
Mephiston
out.
that he was to join the Death Company, which he joined the Death Watch? Do those? God, it's so hard to read these.
The Death Company and the Death Watch are different things.
Yeah, Death
Yes.
Watch and Death Company are different things.
I have a question.
What's up?
Is it knowledge, like common knowledge among, not necessarily among the Imperium, but let's say among the Astartes, about the Black Rage and what it does?
Nope.
No,
it is not common knowledge, and the
closely-
Blood Angels would
yeah.
freak out if it was.
So
Yeah.
follow up. What happens if let's say a Blood Angels is in the Death Watch or some other like joint chapter group, and then falls to the Black Rage? What happens?
Probably die. The Death Watch are basically suicide squads.
Not the
so
Death Watch.
basically, he probably.
No,
Yeah,
no.
the
Death-
no. Yeah, the Death Watch go on suicide missions.
Thank you for
Who's the
following.
anti-Xeno group? They're Death
That's
something.
yes.
That's the Death Watch.
So him
They're
going
not-
to the Black Rage while on mission, he just dies while on mission.
Yeah, so they just go, huh, our Blood Angel lost his shit. Okay.
Because like,
Yeah.
because I get the Death Watch and the Death Company confused sometimes again. And I was like,
Nexus Vanos. It is not a decision.
One debt to
Uh,
society later.
Death Watch is an honor to go into for sane Blood Angels. If you fall to the Black Rage, it's not a choice. You are locked up in the Black Tower until you are needed. And then you are slapped into a painted black armor and then thrown out against the enemy and expected to die.
And if you don't die, there's a good old boy with an axe for you.
Yep.
unrelated note. Well, slightly related note. You know my favorite fun fact about the Blood Angels?
What?
So when the devastation of Baal happened, Dante put the call out to all Blood Angels successor chapters to come back to Baal to defend it.
Yeah.
Except for 2 chapters, they did not get this call. One was the Lamenters, partially because they were basically extinct at the time, but also partially because the reputation of the Lamenters preceded itself. And there was another one, but I don't remember what they are. I know for a fact, though, they are loyalist, but they are excessive.
They're considered a renegade. Hold on. How much do we know about the Dark King? I know about as much as everyone else does who read Death of the End Part 2 and 3.
Yep.
That's all we got. 2 books.
Theoretically, he is destined to take the spot as the 5th Chaos God. Theoretically.
Well, that's what the people in that book believe, but it's a Dan Abnett book, and people in Dan Abnett books are almost never right.
Yeah.
Like I said, theoretically. It doesn't necessarily change my statement. It might not ever happen. We might get Vashtor as a Chaos God
Watched
first.
a lot of popular Warhammer 40k content and stumbled upon your TikTok and your kind of content presentation-wise of explaining the story and energy. It's exactly what I've been needing to get deeper into 40k. Thank you so much. Found you from Twitch. Hello, good sir. I'm here for the Space Wolves. You led me to my faction, and in general 40k entirely, you inspired me. Aw. Thank you. What's the worst punishment a chapter can receive as a punishment? Excommunicate Traitoris?
Or Penitent Crusade would be also up there.
Yeah, but like excommunicate Traitoris, they're fucked.
Yeah, they're just fucked. They're just chaos. They've gone to shoot on sight. The worst thing is, if they haven't turned to chaos, chaos will also shoot on sight.
what's really interesting about the whole Penitent Crusade thing is that the way it's introduced, historically and also in terms of like in universe, like the originally the concept of the Bad Ab War, which is where we get the idea of the Penitent War from, because it's the aftermath, was introduced to be the excuse for why Marines would fight Marines, because at the time there was no chaos. So like they need an excuse for like why are Marines fighting each other. But then they kept this idea of like afterwards they have to go on a penitent crusade, like the Lamenters, the Mantis Warriors, and the Executioners have to. And
Didn't the Mantis
what's
Warriors
interesting
live on the chaos?
No, Mantis Warriors are fine.
And what's interesting about that is the way it's presented. It's not presented as something that's unusual. So, like, it's relatively routine that Space Marine chapters go off the rails and have to then go off and do 100-year penitent crusades. Like, the Bad Ab chapters are not meant to be exceptional in this regard. It's just like, that's just the standard punishment if you rebel against the Imperium.
I feel like, having it be common enough that this is not that this is a normal punishment is a bad sign for your space empire.
It's almost like the Imperium's not good. It doesn't.
No,
really
not
work.
even like they're evil. Like as in a, my God, are you far worse than we feared? Like far worse off than we feared.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I haven't watched the thing with Kaiseron in it. That's the Blood Angels animation, right?
Oh, Angels of Death.
Yeah, I haven't watched that animation. I haven't been able to. Hi from
great.
TikTok, dude. Love your videos. I just got back into painting minis, but I love the lore videos. Keep it up. Thank you. Has a Custodes ever killed an Inquisitor? Yes!
Oh, yeah, all the time.
So many. We don't know about them because they stopped existing.
We are.
I mean, the
we are
Inquisitor.
from all over Terra in this community. Yeah. Could someone follow two different Chaos Gods? Yes. There's Chaos Undivided. You got my interest in tabletop back up through my armies. Get a little Xeno, questionably Imperial too. Nice.
So, hey, boss.
What's up?
Someone asked this in your YouTube chat, but I kind of want to know myself. Do Necrons know about chaos?
Yes.
Besides
Yeah.
trade?
They know all about it. They fucking hate it. They despise chaos.
With a passion.
They despise it for like completely different reasons to most of the rest of the universe, though. It's an inconvenience to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I listen. An entire separate realm of reality that just occasionally pops up.
An inconvenience.
An entire different realm that pops up like a hurricane over a planet and then washes it over with demons. Yeah, it can get kind of fucking annoying. It is.
How terrifying in that case. Hell is an inconvenience.
What's your thoughts on Henry Cavill possibly directing a Warhammer series or movie? I really don't care. Oh my god, if Henry Cavill does a thing, why the fuck should I care? It's Henry fucking Cavill. He's a fan of Warhammer 40k. Cool, awesome, good for him. He's not the end-all be-all of Warhammer 40k, and I'm kind of sick about hearing about him.
He's a famous person who's also a nerd. Congratulations.
Do you know who also was a fan of 40k historically?
Who?
We know about it. Robin Williams.
Yeah!
He played Eldar.
Yo!
But like,
That's so funny, but also
guys,
so sad.
I've grown so tired of the Henry Cavill conversation because fucking grifters and all these weirdos keep using him, and it's like, why is he the arbiter of what's good and what's bad in 40k? What makes him the fucking arbiter? Who cares? He's just a guy like the rest of us. He's just a person.
Listen, if he was still with us, the only person we should be asking is we should be using as a judgment for what's good in 40k would be Williams himself. But unfortunately, he is no longer with us. Because
Yeah.
at least he knew what comedy was.
And
tragedy for that matter. Oof.
I'm so sick of listening, like hearing about Henry Cavill this, Henry Cavill that. I don't care. My opinion on him is that he's there. We need to stop. We need to stop this like worship of celebrities, okay? They are fun to watch. They are entertaining, but they're people like us, and we need to treat them like people. And I'm
Also,
sick.
just like
You first, Will.
you know. No, you're sick.
I am so sick and tired of listening to like this, like, the Warhammer show's canceled. He's against it. He's never said that. He's the arbitrator. No, he's not. Yibba. Who fucking cares? It's Henry fucking Cavill. Will.
I mean, he wouldn't be that. Go ahead.
No, you're good. It's also like he like enjoy whatever, like if you care about 40k, if you care about Warhammer, just enjoy the stuff that does come out. They're literally they just produced excellent series of animations on their thing. They're going to be on Amazon later this year in the sequel series to Love, Death and Robots kind of thing. They're like there's like they just released an amazing video game. Like, why do you need to like why are you digging into the minutiae of like what projects are going into development other than if you were a content creator trying to like generate clicks? Like,
and I don't like that. I prefer to have the information when it's out instead of just hearsay. Because there's just so much bullshit, and I'd rather be right than wrong. Hold on. Have you seen the Astartes animated videos? Who are the guys who have the force field and are fighting the Space Marines, stopping them with telekinesis? Sorry if that's too long. They're just psychers. They're just random psychers.
We don't know who.
We don't know who. It was a fan animation. It is canon, but like, eh. If it means we get a big budget, true to lore 40k show film, I'm fine with it. Stop trying to say true to lore. The books are not even true to lore half the time.
Nope.
40k.
No,
here's 40k's true to lore. If it has the 40k title slapped on it, there's an Aquila somewhere and the Mark of Chaos. It's 40k.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about 40k. Its tagline is, and I quote, "Everything is canon, not everything is true."
Exactly.
So
So like,
everything is canon, even the parts that contradict.
yeah, everything's
Do
canon.
I agree? Sorry, go ahead.
Everything is canon, even the parts that contradict. People need to learn that 40k has never had a concrete timeline. It's never been concrete on what's true, what's false. One edition, the Emperor was walking around. The other edition, he's a corpse on a throne. One edition, Tzeentch, like all the Chaos Gods are one being, and another edition, they're four separate entities.
One of my favorite examples of this is the Imperial Guardsman's uplifting primer. This thing looks like it fell out of 40k, and the only thing that proves otherwise is the Black Library Publishing logo right below the Administratum Publishing logo. But that's the point.
Yeah, and this is
and the best thing about that product, they released two versions of it. The first one they released was the Imperial Infantryman's Uplifting Primer, and the second edition was the Imperial Infantryman's Uplifting Primer, the Damocles Gulf edition, which had sections of it where it had pages taped over other pages because they'd amended it.
One of my favorite bits of that is you can see when they talk about sanctioned psychers, and under that ever so slightly, you can see there are no such thing as sanctioned psychers, kill on sight.
Yeah, like, guys, the Rainbow Warriors used to be a founding legion. The Rainbow Warriors.
Yeah.
And now they're not. In fact, their homeworld was redacted.
Also, remember what the original Salamander's color scheme was?
Yep.
Oh no. Ugh.
Like, guys, 40k is nothing but retcons. The only thing that has stayed constant is the Imperium being a shit place to be.
frankly, you could use the tagline, everything is canon, nothing is true.
It's
on the plus side, you can thank the Rainbow Warriors for the Sisters of Battle having the symbol that they do.
Having the what?
So the Rainbow Warriors are a reference to there was a Greenpeace ship called the Rainbow Warrior, which was sunk by the French government in the British Channel. There is an image in the Rogue Trader rulebook of a woman in power armor named Sister Sin shooting a Rainbow Warrior, and she has a fleur-de-lis on her armor because she's meant to be a stand-in for the French.
Yep, here it is.
That's
Found
my-
it. Boom. Sister Sin, right there, chat.
Neat.
Bang. But yeah, like, whoever tells you like 40K has a concrete timeline, they're fucking lying to you.
We know certain specific events happen. The details of those events can change so radically in the span of a sentence.
Like this book
We know the
series,
Siege of Terra happened.
Horus Rising
We
itself
often-
has retcons within it. Like Furious Abyss, the like 6th or 7th book in the series, was retconned out of fucking existence.
Mm-hmm.
And that book is like, oh my god, the Word Bearers built a Super Star Destroyer! It's the only one! It's the only one ever built. It was a super secret project.
The Death Star.
10 books later, Betrayer. There's like 5 of these things now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the only thing ever concrete in the books, and this is my opinion, is that we do know certain events happened. The details of those events change on a dime, though. Like, we know for a fact that the Siege of Terra happened. We know for a fact Horus turned traitor. But how he turned traitor, how the Siege of Terra played out, as we have seen recently, can change easily in a moment's notice with a new book.
There is a short story in the original Realm of Chaos book, which is Horus fighting the Emperor. It's told from the Emperor's perspective, and Horus is a cartoonishly pantomime villain. Like,
And then,
he's like cackling and talking about how he will, he is Horus, War Master of Chaos, and he will like watch the galaxy burn and all this kind of stuff. You can read that now as this is an imperial reinterpretation of this event, but
go ahead.
that was a published work. That was canonically how that happened for a while. Hell, like when I got into 40K, Necrons were Terminators, literally just Terminators that showed up on planets.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Hold on, someone's asking, does 40K work off of unreliable narrator, or is it just getting retcon constantly? Both.
Both.
Oh. Sometimes it's unreliable narrator. Sometimes it's quite literally the Inquisition existing and going redacted, unredacted.
Warhammer 40K is written from the Imperium's perspective, and I remind everybody, the Imperium is described as a bureaucratic nightmare, where nothing gets through. Information arrives centuries late before after it was supposed to. People don't learn shit till probably like decades or centuries later. And you could have 2 chapters of the same name serving at the exact same time, but an actual record suggests like, no, these are 2 very different chapters that share the same name and colors, but they don't act the same at all, and they exist at like 2 very massive different timelines.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous how things can change. One of my favorite interpretations recently from the End of the Death is it describes the death of Horus. Another content creator put it very poetically. Is described as the oldest murder, a father killing his son with a stone. The oldest form of murder. And that's a really poetic thing. but I also acknowledge that the cackling villain Horus is also still exists, and it's funny.
But like the I was gonna say about the retcons thing. Like the I've completely lost my train of thought now.
This reminds me of that soldier in Saturnine that talks about how people just need stories. Exactly.
Yep.
No, one of my favorite things in the Siege of Terra is the story about, you know, who stood in front of the Emperor to stop Horus's final blow before the Emperor killed Horus. And in my favorite interpretation, it is a random Joe Schmo guardsman that just gets evaporated in an instant.
Now we know the story. It's all of them. All of them are right. A Custodes got in the way, Loken got in the way, and Alanius Pius got in the way.
Yeah.
3 people.
Or the idea of Alanius Pius.
It was Alanius Pius.
Yeah.
But the end goal is the same. It is the Emperor seeing this and knowing his son is gone.
What's your
His son
question
is
there?
Horus is gone.
Sorry about the focus blades, but it's my hyperfixation. I'm still trying to accept them as space vampires, but the Red Thirst just doesn't feel vampiric enough. Do they need blood, or are they just psychopaths? Do they suffer some lethargic effects if they don't? It is an unquenchable thirst for blood. They need to drink.
In the book Dante, we got a little bit more information on it. It can restore their vigor, because Dante goes like he mentions it several times, like he's gone like multiple centuries without drinking any blood, and then he finally takes that drink and he feels amazing.
He gets that good shit.
Yeah, he has that rush.
It's a hunger that they constantly have. They're not like the traditional Dracula vampire. It's very much like they're the Catholic vampire. The one that, like, the monster that drinks your blood and leaves you a withered corpse.
They don't necessarily need it. It's the, for lack of a better term, a genetic defect, which a lot of Space Marines have.
It's a very, I'm gonna say it this way, it's a very anime vampire trope.
Yeah, no, that's
which,
actually a good way to put it.
Like, what I was actually gonna say is the thing about retcons is like they would do it in like the old codices as well. Like the 2nd edition Space Wolf Codex has their Wolf Scouts are regular scouts the same way every other chapter does. 3rd edition Wolf Scouts are old veterans that want to. That's the one of the ways that the Space Wolves are different. And it says in the book, it's a letter from one Imperial archivist to another. It's like, yes, I'm aware this has caused some confusion amongst scribes in the past. And it's like they acknowledge that like the Imperium is just like bad at records and stuff.
I think.
So it's a boost or a drug kind of relationship. Sort of. It's that addiction you can't get rid of.
Yeah.
I've heard people say Sangi's soul was shattered. Does that mean he can't come back?
Anything can happen if GW need to spend money.
Yeah. No,
Anything can happen if GW needs the money.
Ferrus Manus is confirmed dead. The next book, GW might look at their bank account and think that's one too few zeros there. And now Ferrus Manus is back. He's alive.
I mean, they do fuck with you in a Salamander's book. It's hilarious.
The only 2 people I could ever see confirmed permadead would be cannot come back in their full glory. Would be the Emperor and Horus. Those 2 could never return. No matter how desperate they get. Because
hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. So
Clone doesn't count.
no, we're not counting
Yeah,
clone.
clone doesn't count.
It's
That's new.
hold on. So Vengeful Spirit. I keep coming back to this book. Wow, it's like this book is like a treasure trove of just absolutely fucking with everybody. On the planet Moloch, Horus goes into a warp portal and comes out visibly aged. Essentially, he makes the same deal with the Chaos Gods that the Emperor did. The Chaos Gods gave him power. No one knows what happened in there. It's not till... Which book was it? It's the one where, like, they're getting everybody together, but Horus is in a coma.
Isn't that also where he gets the nose tube?
Yes, I think so.
Weird nose tube.
Weird nose tube. I think it was, like, Gathering Darkness or something.
Gathering Storm?
Not Gathering Storm. Horus, Heresy, books. Fuck, which one is it? God damn it. God damn it.
Here's one of the... I was going to say, just choose one of the standard GW wizard-pleasing words.
Hold on. Slaves to Darkness. There we go.
Yeah, it was one of them.
In Slaves to Darkness, Malachurst, to try and wake up his master, does a ritual and finds out that Horus's soul never actually left the warp with him. It turns out that Horus's soul was divided up amongst the four assholes in a lot of ways, and he's stuck. He's stuck fighting endless wars. In fact, when the first one that Malachurst meets, he's just like, the fuck are you doing here? I just left you guys behind. He thinks he just left Moloch like 5 minutes ago. Moloch was 7 years ago by that point. So GW, the guy who wrote fucking Vengeful Spirit, which one was that? Where is it? Where is Vengeful Spirit in this? Graham McNeil left the door open for Horus to come back. If need be. Like, I would... His soul is scattered amongst, like, thousands of endless warring things that the Chaos Gods keep him trapped in.
Because it's funny.
Because it's funny.
How recent was this book?
2014.
Okay, so 10 years old, so that's definitely...
And then Slaves to Darkness was 2018.
Because last I remember hearing, the Emperor sandblasted Horus's soul out of existence.
He sandblasted Horus's body. And what was left of his consciousness. But his soul is a different matter all entirely.
Again, I would go back to, like, if they want to, they will do anything. The Iron Warriors used to have absolutely nothing to do with demons, and you could not have anything demonic or anything possessed in an Iron Warriors army. Now they are the best at making demon engines.
Whatever the writers need.
Yeah, that's accurate. I am also admittedly slightly. I wonder if they ever get desperate enough to get Big E off the throne, but I don't think they could.
They have perfectly set it up so that way if Big E gets off the throne, they can reset the universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, if that is happening if that happens, Games Workshop is going under.
Yeah,
that is.
Oh boy, I can't wait for another AOS.
That would be kind of funny, but also I don't want that.
Is that why Dan writes Horus like his personality is a combo of the False Four? Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
He's being puppeted by them.
Oh, that makes so much sense now, because for the longest time I just thought Horus went crazy because the four were fighting over the controller.
No, they're not fighting over it. They're each one has a string on his limbs. And they're fucking with the Emperor.
They're all fighting over it.
They are all united and fucking with him.
Oh, good writing. Holy shit. Unrelated note. Well, actually, slightly related. I saw someone doing like a 50K kind of theoretical thing about like the emperor, like, oh, 40K ended, now we have 50K like Age of Sigmar, and it's even worse. It's like, we just cranked up the grim darkness even more. Everything's rusted and falling apart. It looks like if Fallout and 40K had a baby.
Off topic, I just got ambushed by Skaven in Total War 3. Fuck my life. Oh no. Worst thing to happen to you.
Skaven. I saw fan art of like Skaven Astra Militarum, and I laughed.
Do you think they'll bring Horus back / when the Emperor becomes the Dark King to fight alongside him? To fight against him? No. Here's the thing.
The Emperor is also never going to become the Dark King. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
GW would bankrupt if it ever happened.
Guys, I keep saying that that's what's going to happen, but what's actually going to happen is the second the Emperor dies, universe reset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they can't have it.
The entire thing is always meant to be 5 minutes to midnight, so that there can be an eternal war, and there can be multiple war fronts and multiple campaigns and multiple things for you to set your own stories in and have your own army background. And
even like it for in-lore reason, it's never gonna happen because the custodians are never gonna let it happen, because it's anything that could bring him back is going to be too much of a risk for them.
To put it simply, he's right. The entire universe is set 5 minutes to midnight, and the entire fun of it is both getting to revel and being the villain, and also playing the role of raging against the dying of the light. That's why I like Guard, because the Guard, when it's well written, is the epitome of rage against the dying of the light.
Yeah. So it's going to happen, but never an actual game / lore unless they want to totally revamp the game? Yes. I remember seeing another question there. Where is it? Someone asked me how long the Horus Heresy and the Great Crusade lasted.
Yeah.
So
the Great Crusade was multiple centuries.
Yeah, it was 200 years.
The Horus Heresy was like what, a decade?
14 years. A 14-year civil war.
Well,
it took 200 years to build all that.
And a 14-year tantrum to tear it all down.
Yup.
Let this be a lesson. It's really easy to make an empire crumble. Look at Rome.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of the point. It was an empire built on sand.
I don't think sand's accurate. More like styrofoam.
Well, like the whole idea is it's the whole thing, and it's even said again in Horus Rising: an empire built on fear will not stand.
Yep. Ignis Carcassy is supposed to be the poet of truth. He's the guy speaking truth at the end of the day. And it's why he gets the shit kicked out of him. Because he is saying the truth. He's saying the truth that everyone knows, but no one wants to admit.
I mean, we've seen exactly what happens when you try and rule a planet through fear. With Kurz, it only works as long as you're there.
We are remarkably fucking stupid as a species. Remarkably stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
accurate.
Guys, we're scared of the thing until it goes away. And then we wonder, why were we even scared of that thing to begin with? We're so...
As a species, humanity is the dumbest intelligent species in existence. And I mean that as like a whole species. As a species, we are still afraid of the dark, for God's sake.
But yeah, like, when Conrad was in control of Nostromo, the second that he left, Nostromo went back to what it did best. Being the worst place ever.
Being Gotham 4.0.
Being Batman's worst fucking nightmare.
It went back to being a criminal hellhole where the gangs ruled over the planet. he was only ruler for a very short time. And then the second that he left and that he wasn't present, fuck it. Who cares?
It arguably got worse because he removed the ones who actually held power.
I don't know if this is canon or not, but there is a really great story with Conrad where we see him we see a point, like the point of no return for him, where he's got this kid who did a crime, a murder, I think. And we see, for the first time, Conrad gets shown 2 futures, not one. One bad one and one good one. A bad one where the kid stabs Kurz, and then he gets to be he becomes an even more powerful crime lord, blah blah blah. And another one where Kurz spares him, and Nostromo gets better. And they both end with the same statement, which is, "You made me," talking to Kurz. And Kurz says the same thing he always says, is, "I'm not going to risk it. Fate will always, shit on me." That's his entire problem. He's fatalist. So he kills the kid. And we then see the kid was nowhere near his knife that was supposed to stab Kurz. And now we see now the greatest flaw of Kurz. He's fatalist. Extremely fatalist.
I mean, I think the greatest flaw of Conrad Kurz is the fact that he's an insane, superpowered demigod who thinks he's dishing out justice.
I mean, that's also there too, but like, existentially.
And then gets recruited into a fascist state.
I mean, they all have that problem. They're all extremely powerful, like, child soldier demigods, but I'm talking more on the existential flaw.
If Abaddon wasn't around, who would you want leading Chaos? Fuck.
Is no one an option?
I would rather Chaos be like its own, like, fleeting warbands, and like kind of like Orcs, one champion rises up, kind of like how like Fantasy does it with like Archaon and all that kind of stuff, where like one guy becomes like the Ever Chosen and like leads a Black Crusade. I would like it that way.
Yeah. Like, are you asking like who I think would be the most terrifying? There's a list. There's a list of people that would be terrifying to have leading Chaos.
The answer, though, could not be one of the 4. Like Ahriman, Lucius, Karn, Typhus. It can't be one of those guys.
That would mess up the balance of power.
How do Imperial ships get refueled? Well, you see, Guy.
Oh boy.
One unlucky bastard is chosen to attach a pipe to the ship inside a radioactive hellhole. And they will die going in there. This is not an if. This is not like you'll die if you go in there. It's you're going in there and you're not coming out.
It's not even a win. It's a you're gonna make it there, plug it in, and then drop dead.
I mean, on some ships that might be considered an honor. That's the thing.
Yeah, it depends.
Man, some Imperial ships are wild.
I'd love to see Lorgar become champion undivided. He's already a demon prince undivided.
He outranks them.
If there is any one person that all 4 Chaos Gods are like, for lack of a better term, looking at and kind of watching, probably Lorgar.
No, right now it's Huron. They're all kind of like keeping an eye on Huron.
Yeah.
Really?
Huron is... He doesn't have the same kind of baggage that Abaddon has. And Huron seems more on board with Chaos than Abaddon is. Because Abaddon's whole thing is like, I want to watch the galaxy burn, I want to tear the Emperor off his throne, that kind of thing. Huron's in it for the long haul. He's a Reaver, he's a pirate. And he sort of really gets what Chaos is all about. It's about mayhem. It's about, like, war, excess, death, and change. He gets it. And he fully embraces those things. He goes to war with a smile on his face. He engages in excessive piracy. He accepts when people die around him, but he's always willing to change his tactics.
Did we say Huron could not be the leader of the Chaos Undivided if it wasn't Abaddon?
No, I
Because if
I said that
Okay, 'cause-
Ahriman, Typhus, Lucius, and Karn can't.
so I'm gonna change my answer to Huron. He would be a terrifying leader of Chaos Undivided.
You got to remember that where Abaddon, like, for the longest time in 40k, before, like, Indomitus and everything, before 8th edition, there were two people that everyone was watching. There's Abaddon in the Eye of Terror, and then there's left Huron in the Maelstrom. Which, you got to remember that Bad Dab was, like, 100 years before, the 13th Black Crusade. And, well, it was at, like, the start of M41. And in comparison, Huron has not been around that long compared to the other veterans of the Long War.
Frankly, he's done a lot more than them in that short time.
But it's over the course of, like, 900 years, give or take. He's already built up a Reaver fleet that, like, rivals the legions of old.
In his short time alive, he has done more, like, to hurt the Imperium than Abaddon. And Abaddon's had, what, 10,000 years?
I mean, no, that's like no. Abaddon has done a lot to hurt.
He's had 10,000 years to prep.
Okay. Rephrase. Comparably.
No.
Like, Abaddon's had 10,000 years to prep.
No,
Huron's
sorry.
Huron's success comes from how fast he rallies the forces of chaos, how well he leads them, and the fact that, like, even for an agent of chaos, he does not do what Abaddon does. He commands respect, and he earns it. Like, where Abaddon will kill someone for a mistake, Huron won't. Huron will look at the guy and go, "What did you do wrong?" "Well, I did this." "Then don't do it again. Learn. Improve."
Huron will be like the smack on the back of the head and go, "You idiot. Now learn from this." Abaddon will do the Sith thing of, my greatest general has failed me. Death.
And where Abaddon will abandon his men if it benefits him, Huron won't. Because Huron realizes, like, if I abandon them, that's a ship gone from my fleet and a bunch of warriors that I could have used somewhere else. That's not good.
More importantly, it also makes him, like, kind of sends the message to the rest of his fleet of, I'm not going to come back for you or give a shit about you.
But the important thing also to remember is even with all of that, and I do agree that Huron is, like, sweet. When people say, like, oh, Abaddon has never, like, achieved anything, right? Even excluding the fall of Cadia, the Gothic War is massive, overlooked because it was the background to Battlefield Gothic, but, like, the Gothic War is, like, one of the biggest conflicts the Imperium has had in its history. And that's just all Abaddon. That's like...
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Like, let's put it this way. Abaddon was so fucking terrifying in the 12th Black Crusade that the Eldar went to the Imperium and said, "Listen, we're both fucked if we don't team up." He made the Eldar go humble. That's how dangerous he is.
That's
And he
terrifying.
and he still won.
Yeah, like, guys, the entire point of the Black Crusades wasn't that Abaddon failed to get to Terra. That was never the goal. It is the end goal, but it was never the objective. Each crusade had its objective. The first one was to get Draknien, to get the sword. The second one was to build up power. Each one along the way was step by step to burn a path all the way to Terra. The goal is to pave the road.
There was one he did. I don't remember what the number it was, but he did some really weird freaking cult ritual for Zeech, and it just worked, and it, like, sank half, like a huge section of the galaxy under a ruin storm. It was one of the it was a Zeechian plot, so it was convoluted as shit, and I mean that because Zeech himself likes it that way. But it was still impressive.
Yeah,
It's like it's the meme that annoys me the most is like the Abaddon fails thing. It's like Abaddon has literally since the Horus Heresy, I don't think Abaddon has ever actually lost.
he hasn't. He might
The
lose.
biggest-
He might lose a battle, but he's winning the war.
The biggest quote unquote loss he has had that I can remember is the fact that upon getting not necessarily beaten, but upon being held at Cadia for the 13th time, he said, "Fuck it," and threw a black fortress at it.
No, it wasn't even
Oh,
that. It wasn't even a fuck it. It was, oh, they've activated a thing that pushes back the warp in my allies. Stop it.
Oh well, better use my contingency that I brought
Like,
just in case
sure.
they did this.
He lost one of his black fortresses.
Yeah, it
And
was
then-
already dead. It was already dead in space.
And then
So,
what? Like the next book later, he allies with Vashtor and starts getting Arcs of Omen, which
Yeah.
are also impressive in their own right.
by the way, Abaddon's mood towards the Arcs of Omen is just like, okay,
Sure.
and he doesn't care for them. He's only interested in Vashtor's assistance. Because Vashtor repaired the Vengeful Spirit for nothing.
There is a scene that best sums this up. It is, I think, in the 4th book. Vashtor's telling Abaddon what he's going for, and he goes on saying, "Long ago there was a battle of gods," and Abaddon, with the level of like a 7-year-old, like, "I don't care, Dad," says, "I know of the great game, demon."
No, he
And Vashtor says,
he
"No."
he fully pulls the SpongeBob looking at the Flying Dutchman face.
And then Vashtor explains, "No, I mean different gods." And throughout the entire time, this is all like, we get the fun fact of now Abaddon knows about the war in heaven, and he just does not care.
Yep.
He gives no fucks about it. Like, okay,
Is
how did this help me?
would I say Abaddon is stronger than a Primarch? Probably right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with all the benefits he's been getting from the
Oh,
Chaos
wow.
Gods, maybe.
He can definitely square up with most of the Primarchs. I think there's a few that might still fuck him up pretty good.
With the exception of like the forces he can call on, it's arguable that like Abaddon now in 40k is individually more powerful than Horus was in Horus Rising.
Yeah. I don't think Abby could 1v1 like the Lion or, God forbid, Angron.
Tabletop wise,
I mean, like, Tabletop's a whole different story from lore.
Abaddon would probably kick a Primarch shit in probably right now because he's supposed to be the big bad.
He could definitely go even with a lot of them. I'm almost certain he could beat someone like Gilliman, whose strength is not in 1v1, but in the fact he has a guy for everything.
What
That's Gilliman, so he could definitely go 1v1 with Gilliman and win. Probably kill him
Never
again.
Death Guard, Chaos Knights, Salamanders, any of those taboo or unfun to play against. Knights, you're gonna get a lot of groans because like people are sick of fighting knights because they're just like they're a really hard army to tear through because they're titans. Death Guard are fine. Salamanders, they're fine.
People are sick of playing against knights for the same reason people don't like fighting bullet sponges in game. It's like, God, I have to go through 3 magazines to kill this man. I'm just tired of it.
Yeah, Lionel Johnson is wounding Abaddon on 2s, but Abaddon's wounding him on 3s. Abaddon has access to tons of more abilities than him. Yeah, no, this comes down to... Wait, no, does Lionel always go first? Each time melee attack is allocated, saving throw 1. Oh, no, he doesn't always go first. It always depends. Nope, he has fights first. My bad. I think on the tabletop, Lionel Johnson beats Abaddon more reliably. But if we're talking, like, lore stuff, it's probably, like, Abaddon kicks his shit in. But what is Vashtor...
Sorry, go ahead.
What exactly is Vastor? He is an entity of the warp, but he is not described as a demon, but he is not a god. He is something in between.
He wants to be a god.
He wants to be a god.
The best way to describe Vashdor right now is the warp's #1 arms supplier. He is Raytheon. He is Lockheed Martin. He is all of them put together, and that's the only reason why he's allowed to do what he does.
And the Iron Warriors very much want to talk to him right now.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah.
Oh no, he has Peter Turbo on speed dial.
Oh yeah, no.
I know.
Peter Turbo on speed dial.
We don't know much about him outside of the fact that he's really weird. He's a demon that he's a creature that won't fuck you over. He makes a deal with you. Not like anything hidden in the contract. No, the contract is as stated. You do X, you get Y.
I dispute slightly. He won't fuck you over in the way a normal Chaos God will. He'll fuck you over in legalese. The contract will state you will submit 10,000 souls to me every week or every month or whatever, and then you submit 100,000 souls in the first month, and then nothing in the next month. You broke the contract, buddy. But I did 100,000 souls in the first month. Doesn't matter. You broke the contract. That's how he fucks you over. But it's your own damn fault. Because you thought you could handle it, and you bought a car you couldn't pay for.
But
essentially,
he only does that to people if they're not important to the goal. Oh my god, please stop.
am I still catching feedback from you?
Yeah, you're getting like lots of I'm getting lots of feedback from your mic.
Hang on, let's see if I can turn on noise suppression.
But yeah, like Vashdor is the kind, if he wants something from you, it's straightforward. You do X, you get Y. Like, he tells Abaddon, help me get the silver key, and I'll give you power. Which Abaddon does. And Abaddon gets his support inherently.
Out of lore, realistically, what he probably is Games Workshop going, would a Dark Mechanicum faction sell?
Exactly.
Because
you know what? That's accurate, actually. Can we sell the Dark Mechanicum?
It's like we'll seed this character into the game, and then if he's popular, we can build a faction around it. Just like we'll seed the Inari into the game, and if they're popular, we'll build a full faction around them.
I think lore-wise, Vashdor is popular, but I've seen his model on the tabletop, and oof.
No, he's gotten a lot better.
Oh, he's a lot better now?
Yeah, no, he's actually pretty scary.
I know when he first showed up, he was kind of oof.
No, his introduction was kind of lame. He didn't really do much. He was very much like, you're building him around demon engines, and there were just better options to take for supporting demon engines. And he was the full price of a demon prince, which is just like not what you want.
Yeah, that is not cost effective.
Now with how detachments are built, his entire thing is like, yeah, no, I want to still be supporting like demon engines, but now instead of being like it's +1 strength in melee, it's add 1 to the strength characteristic of weapons equipped by demon engines. And he now fucks over enemy vehicles by giving them hazardous, and all of his stuff is anti-vehicle. All of it.
Ooh, that's terrifying.
So, like, you got, like, an Imperial Knight, he says, haha, I don't care. And wounds it on 4s all the time.
Damn, that's terrifying.
And 6 attacks sitting on 2s, wounding Knights on 3s, doing 3 damage each, devastating wounds on 4+.
Ooh.
3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. He's practically crippled a Knight in one combat. But yeah, it is late. I want to go eat dinner. So thank you all so much for joining us for this wonderful little evening, a little chat, a little shindig, a little getting together party to talk about Warhammer 40k and Horus Rising. Once I complete False Gods, I will talk about that with you all. But yeah, just to let you all know, there is a situation going on in my private life where I might be a little bit fucked on money, so... Because my wife's job is shitty. So, yeah, you might be seeing a lot more of me in the coming weeks if things don't pan out properly. But, yeah, so...
Boss.
What?
I said I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah. It's stressful, but if you can, please subscribe to the YouTube. Please follow the Twitch. All help is appreciated. If you can't donate, please just subscribe and follow if you haven't already. If you have, your viewership is more than helping. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you all either tomorrow or Saturday. Good night, everybody.